Welcome everybody to another BDA Boxing podcast, broadcasting to you live from the true north. This is your host, Mr. BDA, and alongside with me as always, my co-host, the one, the only, King Bucho. King, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Fantastic. Now you guys know the drill. You want to join us? Go on over to Google Hangouts and send us an instant message with the email address on the top of your screen. That's boxingdebate@hotmail.com. boxingdebate@hotmail.com. Lots to talk about. I see we got El Dude in the house. Shout out to El Dude. And before we continue, again, a couple of announcements. Don't forget to download these episodes via Spreaker, Stitcher. What else we got? iTunes, Google Play Music. Check out the BDA Twitter page, the Facebook page. Don't forget to check out the Was Vladimir Klitschko Boring video. My contention is he was one of the most boring fighters of the past 10 years. In fact, no, make that 20 years. Because I'm going to count his career from 96 onward. Don't forget to check out our Canelo Triple G playlist. Don't forget to check out our Amazon affiliate links. We do get a small commission from those. And enjoy the show. Now listen, a couple of more announcements here. Shout out to James Erickson, Joey Ocean. And James Erickson asks, are you guys going to talk about the Orozco versus Ramirez fight? Absolutely. I want to talk more about that fight a little bit. A little bit of an announcement as well. I am not going to be able to comment on the further proceedings up until maybe Sunday post-fight. So this might just be the last show I do before the fight. Bucho is, we're trying to set up the studio here so that Bucho can do more shows prior to the fight and maybe even the day of the fight. But listen, we'll take care of all that. As it stands right now, this is the eve of war. This is the prediction video podcast. We're going to get people's predictions. We want to really go in depth and talk about this fight. It's a free-for-all. But again, we also want to talk about the undercard, Orozco Ramirez, and any other shenanigans that are going on. So, without further ado, let's get started. I see El Dude is the first one in here. El Dude, how are you, man?
Hey, brother, what's going on? We're on the train right now, so...
Yeah, I saw that. I thought you were either on the bus or on a train. It looks like a beautiful day where you're at right now.
It is. Actually, I'm going down south to visit my family. This is the last week of summer school at the university, so...
Hey, wait a minute. Let me ask you this. Where are you going to watch the fight?
Oh, I'm with my father and my brother, most likely at his house, my father's house. We got to go travel a little bit to go visit him, but we always do the thing that we always do, watch the big fights together, especially the stellar fights, because I'm not going to exaggerate. This is family to get together and watch the fights.
That's right. Now, you were breaking up a little bit there, but I understood what you said about watching a fight. Nothing better than watching a fight, especially a big one, with people that know their boxing or that you enjoy their company. Because if you're in a bar, that's one of the downsides of being in a bar. You're surrounded by a bunch of lowlifes. You don't know who's who. You can hear a bunch of stupid comments of people that obviously don't know what they're talking about. So try to find a place where you can enjoy the fight and not get too distracted.
Yeah, my brother, I think he's the one paying for the fight this time, because he's the one inviting everybody right now. And but we usually, we alternate. You know, if I'm the one that gets it, we usually get together at my spot. But this time we're watching it at my brother's. Interesting though, my whole family, the first fight, they thought GGG was going to win the fight. And coming around this one, their predictions, my father's and my brother's, to be more specific, they're saying knockout, because we were watching together last weekend. The fight between Kell Brook versus Gennady Golovkin. Because my brother was arguing with my dad, and they made a lot of sense. They were talking about how Kell Brook is somewhat was handling GGG and pretty well in the first 2 rounds, and that was the blueprint for Canelo on the first first fight, and they made a little sense. They made a little sense on it.
Absolutely, that's why.
The first one, he resembles the movement of Kell Brook within those first 2 rounds.
That's what. That's why I was talking a lot about this fight before the first Canelo versus Triple G fight. I was because Kell Brook does a lot of the same things that Canelo does. So if if there was one fight to watch prior to the Golovkin Canelo fight, that was really the one to watch. Not the Jacobs fight as much as the Kell Brook fight. I totally agree with that. And it's interesting because Kell Brook, he looked like a legitimate middleweight in there. If you ask me, he had bulging muscles. He was strong, and still compared to Canelo, he looked smaller. I mean, Canelo against Triple G, he looked like a bull in there, and that's the main thing coming into this fight. A lot of people are asking whether Canelo is going to come in a little lighter or whether he's going to maintain the same musculature he had in the first fight. I haven't been following any of the training videos or any of the open workouts. How has Canelo looked? Does he look trimmed down or does he look the same?
Right now, the last I saw, they were both the same weight, 163 pounds. So they're right on schedule to make weight. And, you know, for any middleweight, not any, but most middleweights nowadays, you know, they slim down to make weight. And come fight night, they usually rehydrate a good 10 pounds. So I making weight equally. I see them both not having any trouble with it. But I think they look pretty good, man. I don't see them like dehydrated or malnutritioned. I think they coming into this fight, both camps did a wonderful job of preparing their fighters to make weight.
Yeah, and they're both. I mean, we've talked a little bit about this in the past, about how both guys really do seem motivated for this one. I mean, they're taking this one personal. Canelo has said a lot of things prior to the fight. Triple G has been looking like Frankenstein lately. He doesn't have the same smile he always does. He's talking about doing damage. Canelo as well. I mean, this is one of those rare fights where I actually believe both guys are gonna. I don't know if going for the knockout, but they're certainly going in there with mean intentions. This isn't fake.
Yeah, at first I thought it was it might have been a little bit like a show at first, but it seemed like it really got prominent, especially with Abel Sanchez. Now, one thing that I want to point out is I was trying to find the stats for Danny Jacobs and Brook. That there were some elusive fighters to see how many body punches that Gennady Golovkin land on those particular fighters, because he only landed 8 body punches towards Canelo. And I was able to, because the fight with Brook didn't go 12 rounds, but up to the point when the towel was thrown in, he had like single digits. So he had a very low volume of body punches. So which brings up the question for myself is Gennady Golovkin a body puncher against elusive fighters? Because he's able to connect the jab. He was able to connect a lot of power punches, but he was not able to connect the body shots. And Abel Sanchez says it's because Canelo was on the run. But I don't think so. If you're able to land that, and if you're able to land all those power punches, it tells me that you're not throwing the body punches.
Very, very good point. I mean, we've talked about it a little bit, but that is one of the main points coming into this fight about why didn't Golovkin go more to the body against Canelo? And again, against Jacobs, you make the good point too, that he didn't go that much to the body against him. And of course, I think the answer is because he respected those guys. Jacobs was slapping more than Canelo did, but he still had those heavy hands. And Jacobs and Canelo at this point have been the best opponents that Golovkin has fought so far. And you really saw him neglecting the body in those fights. And I think in this one, if he wants to really cement his position in the fight and wear Canelo down, he's going to have to take that risk, man.
Yeah, you know what? I was trying to figure it out why he was throwing such low volume of punches. And I think because against Jacobs, Brook, and Canelo, he was trying to establish his power first by gaining respect. You know what I mean? So they could respect his power. Because if you see those 3 fights, he's lunging in hard with those jabs, solid, strong jabs. And he's throwing these the left hook as hard as he can, and a mean straight right. Those are the 3 main weapons that he was unleashing in the beginning, early in the fight. And I think when he noticed he couldn't hurt him, he kept on trying to rattle their head, and he forgot about the body. I truly do believe he was intending to knock out all three opponents, but he couldn't, and he was stuck on that plan. I feel like he didn't have a plan B against Canelo, nor Daniel Jacobs. I think the reason why he was able to knock down Daniel Jacobs because Daniel Jacobs slowly was being broken down, and he didn't have the inner will to keep being, throwing down face to face with Gennady Golovkin. to make it a war with him. I think Danny Jacobs, he also respected too much the power of GGG, and it resorted to a lot of running. Because I call that more running than what I saw with Canelo.
I agree with that. I think Jacobs actually moved way more than Canelo, man. So I don't know. Some people say that Jacobs actually had a closer fight with Golovkin than Canelo. I disagree with that, though.
Yeah,
Canelo never went down. Yeah, Jacobs went down.
Yeah.
From those, yeah.
He went down and he got hurt in the 10th round, I believe, by a right uppercut. So if he actually got hurt twice in the fight. And Butcher, you called it, man. After the fight, Jacobs collapsed into the corner and started praying. It was almost like he was relieved that he went.
It was a moral victory for
exactly.
Jacobs.
Yeah. And speaking of punch stats for that fight, I'm looking at the punch stats for the Golovkin Jacobs fight. And again, punch stats, they're not exact. They're just an estimate of what happened in the fight. But Jacobs threw 542 punches, landed 176. Golovkin, on the other hand, threw 618 and landed 233. Most of those punches, that's the final punch stats. But if we go to jabs, it's a clear edge for Golovkin. Hold on, I'm waiting for the because I'm watching the fight right now. All right, so jabs.
It's interesting. Oh, go ahead, brother. Go ahead.
Yeah, just last thing. Jacobs threw 170 jabs. He only landed 31 for a dismal 18% rate. Meanwhile, Golovkin threw 358 jabs and landed 106, which for me, that's what won him the fight. It was that jab. And against Canelo too, it was really the jab that got him the edge on my scorecard.
Yeah, brother. And so my question was, what if you take away the jab from Gennady Golovkin, either by staying too far off the outside or having a solid, tight guard GG or landing, will land, if they do, I'm saying. If most of the jabs end up landing on the guard of Canelo and the judges see this, that the jab is not effective, would that take in other words, by taking away the jab of Gennady Golovkin, is that the way to beat him?
Absolutely. But then again, it's easier said. Like, it is what he's supposed to do, but to actually do it, that's a whole other thing, because the jab comes out so quick. He doesn't telegraph it at all, and it's a very long jab. You know what? In theory, the thing that Canelo can do to take away the jab is go under the jab and go to the body. But Golovkin did a good job of blocking the body shots himself. Both guys did, actually. So going to the body, it's going to be hard for both guys.
Yeah, and if you look at the punch stats, I believe Canelo outlanded Golovkin 7 rounds to 5 in that fight. But what stood out for Gennady Golovkin is, like you're saying, he throws a shitload of jabs and it's very effective with it. That's what his punch stats allowed him to surpass Canelo's punch stats in accumulation.
Right.
But when you look at the more significant punches, Canelo only landed a few, just a few more than Golovkin, so it was pretty close.
Well, you know what? Before we continue, let's go to the chat room and see what people are saying. Mr. Cox says, that's what I thought. The Quacks, shout out to the Quacks, says, well, I don't know what, I want to see some predictions. The Quack says, Jacobs was juiced to the gills too. Why would they need to hire a clinical nutritionist to make weight for a weight class he has been in since the start? Nopal Castellanos, shout out. Nopal says, Golovkin is scared about the punch waiting for him on the left. Yeah, we've talked about that too. Like, you got to give Canelo some credit, man. Juice or no juice, the guy can crack. And he certainly got Golovkin's attention in the first 3 rounds. Now, that begs the question, should Canelo start early the way he did in the first fight, or should he conserve his energy more for those middle rounds, which he clearly lost in the first fight?
Man, that's a tough question. And I think the correct answer for both camps is to conserve themselves. But like you were saying earlier when the show started, these guys have bad intentions, and I'm starting to believe that they really, at this point, they really want to knock each other's heads off. So it could be an all action packed fight, man. You know what? Now that I really think about it, this fight, I'm like almost 80% sure is going to end up in a knockout. Just because just because of the first fight, how I saw Gennady Golovkin just kept on trying to knock Canelo's head off, and now with even more reasons to do so, I think he's going to be even more fixed on landing those particular power punches. So I don't know, man. It's a hard call.
Well, you know what? A comment just came in the chat room from John Too Fine, and he says, I think Triple G is more worried about the speed. I don't think it's Canelo's power. I think he's worried about not seeing the punch coming. That's really the punch that hurts you, is the one that you don't see coming. Now, here's a question, because we were talking about the jab. I don't think judges pay that much attention to Golovkin's jab. I think they're more impressed with Canelo's speed, which is better than Golovkin's. I think they're more, those eye-catching shots actually impress the judges more. But let me ask you guys, did you think Canelo landed all that much with his combinations in the first fight?
I think Canelo looked cleaner. I think Canelo looked more crispier with his punches. I think he looked more complete because he was utilizing more of the defensive tactics. But, you know, the fans want to see action. They want to see a knockout, which took away from that show that Canelo was trying to improve. And I think because Canelo has not reached his prime and he's coming in with different looks, I truly do believe that Canelo is going to come into this rematch with a completely different look that he went into within the first fight, because like Abel Sanchez and Gennady Golovkin keep on complaining. Canelo was promising an all-out war. That didn't happen, which means psychologically that interrupted the game plan of Team Golovkin. Now, if Canelo is saying, you know, I want to knock him out in the second fight, I don't think Abel Sanchez and Gennady Golovkin truly do believe, so they have to prepare differently than they did in their first fight. And I think that's going to play a big part in trying to calculate Canelo, not knowing what kind of Canelo is going to come in the rematch.
Absolutely, I agree. That is a very good point, and I want to add something to that. But before I do, because we got more people coming in the chat room, I want to give a shout out to Graham Lanson, Overhand, Mr. Coxie, of course. I already gave a shout. No, actually, I didn't give a shout out. Mean Machine, Mash, Luis Catorce, Ken Kenichi, Carnival, aka Precise Puncher. Good to see him back. It's been a couple of episodes and we haven't seen him in the chat room. He's still schooling those vegans. Nesmatic, Pavel, of course, as well. Brandon White, and many more. Oh, Michael Polaco, and many more to come, I'm sure.
Shout out to all of you in the chat. Big what's up, Castellanos. Nice to see you back as well. Precise.
I also see.
Always entertaining.
Yeah, always entertaining. And don't forget to check out El Dude's channel. And also, we got Stu on the line. But before I introduce him, I just want to add real quick, because we got a lot to cover on this episode, to what El Dude said about the punching power and all that. You know what? Call me crazy, but I think based on when they went head-to-head in the first fight, I actually think that if Canelo can maintain a pace and throw a lot of shots, I think he actually gets the better of Golovkin on the inside, because Golovkin is slower, his punches are wider, and I think, yeah, he does have good defense. He brings his hands back all the time, but those fucking Canelo flurries, they're fast and they're eye-catching, and I think Abel Sanchez should be careful what he asks for, because if they go Mexican style, I think Canelo gets the edge a little bit there. Just a little bit. I don't know.
Did you guys happen to hear Canelo last? Well, I didn't see the whole press conference. I just saw like part of it. I guess Canelo was telling GGG and Abel Sanchez that no, actually it was Chepo Reynoso was saying, man, in the ring of boxing, well, I think it was both said the same thing, that in the ring you could fly if you could. The rules permit you to fly if you're capable of actually putting a Superman and flying within inside of the ring. You could do that legally, and it's up to Gennady Golovkin to stop that, to cut off the ring, and to pursue and to land these particular power punches, which they're saying it's his problem, not the problem of Canelo. I thought it was kind of funny saying that the whole Superman flying within the ring is legal, you know. So I don't know what they think.
Yeah, I don't know what they're. I mean, everybody's gonna make excuses, and that's after the fight. No matter what happens, both sides are gonna be making excuses. By the way, like I said, we got Pavel and Stu, so let's go ahead and introduce them.
I wasn't bad. I told you what's going to happen. I told you he's going to be sleeping. I told you the ambulance is going to come. The oxygen mask is going to come out. I told you he's going to miss the main event. I told you all them things were going to happen.
We got a little bit of a delay. Hold on a second. We still got Pavel as well.
Antisocial personality disorder. Behaviorally is someone who does not have a conscience, does not have remorse, does not feel a sense of guilt.
This man's dangerous. He is dangerous.
All right. We got Stu on the line and serial killer in training, Pavel. Guys, thank you for being on. How are you?
I'm alright, thanks. Thank you for having me. How's it going?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. We can hear you both.
Oh, that's all right. Cool.
Well, I can hear you. I hope everybody else can hear you as well.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah.
Fantastic, fantastic. Now, guys, we're talking about the fight, the big one this Saturday, Gennady Golovkin versus Canelo Alvarez, the rematch. A lot of guys, these two guys clearly dislike each other. It's not fake. Then again, the first fight was quite close, even though most people thought Triple G won. Let's start with Stu. Stu, what do you think is going to happen in this fight, and what adjustments should each guy make to try to really get one over the other guy?
Well, for Golovkin, I think he has to use the body a lot more. I think one weakness Canelo Alvarez has, I believe, that's why he picks his moments when he's in there. You're not going to see him come forward and throw punches like Madonna. He picks his moments. And I think that probably cost him the fight against Golovkin. I think Golovkin definitely has to go to the body more, slow Canelo down. He was headhunting in the first fight a lot. Canelo is a very, very intelligent fighter, very defensively sound as well. One of the best in boxing defensively for me. The way he parries shots and ducks under shots, and he man's hit. I think going to the body would be Golovkin's best tool for me. For Canelo Alvarez, more punches. I mean, I think he fought a great fight against Golovkin in the first fight. I mean, not a lot of people were giving Canelo much of a chance, and Canelo proved that he's an elite fighter because he held his own in there. And a lot of people, well, I'm not sure a lot of people, but there's people out there that thought Canelo won. I thought it was very close. I had Golovkin to win it by 2 rounds, but I think Canelo Alvarez did the better work. I think he's had the better snap. They look classier, that's for sure, and they were landing clean on the button. I think that's why Canelo was getting rounds, shall we say? Because a lot of people say, "Oh, he didn't win many rounds," but he didn't throw a lot of punches. But the punches he was throwing were clean, world-class punches, and I think Canelo Alvarez probably has to throw more punches this time round because he can't be letting Golovkin go four rounds.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. It's if anybody's going to get the benefit of the doubt, it's going to be Canelo. Or maybe the judges are conscious that people are watching them close. Maybe they actually do the right thing this time. I don't know. Now, Pavel, let me ask you this. Because a lot of people are talking about the first fight. Now, I was rewatching the first fight a bunch of times this week. What did you think? Did you think the fight was a little bit closer than people thought? Or was it as conclusive for Golovkin as people say it was?
Oh my! Look, the fight was, something in between. We can't go to both ends of the spectrum and say, oh, it wasn't close at all, or it was so close that we can't tell the difference, and the draw was a right decision. Look, I think Golovkin edged it out. Personally, I gave him 8 rounds to 4. And look, you all guys said before what those boxers should do in the ring, and I agree with that. But I'm gonna add one more thing. Look, no matter how skilled you are, the feints are always gonna work. At some point in time, if you feint enough, or if you feint sophisticatedly enough, then you're gonna catch the guy off guard, and that'll do the damage. So on Golovkin's part, he needs to feint with his jab or with his right hand, on that matter, to the head, so he can get to Canelo's body, which he didn't do that much, or maybe I can say probably at all, in the first fight, which was quite strange to me. So, yeah, well, what he basically needs to do is just throw a little feint here now and then, and go to the body, and it doesn't have to be super frequent. Just catch the guy off guard once in a while, and it'll do the damage in the long run. Trust me. On Canelo's part, yeah, I'd like to emphasize what Stu just said before. Throw even more punches than in the first fight.
Absolutely.
I mean, look, that's true. What you said, BDA, before that. I think, and I can agree with you on that. That the judges tend to favor Canelo's punches more because they're more, eye-catching and flashy. So he might capitalize on that. So he just needs to, I think Canelo needs to use his jab as well a lot more in the first fight. So, he can get to the inside really quick and throw a shoe shine combination, or not even that, just throw a 1-2 or 1-2-3 punch combination and just go away. But if both guys are have their game plan on point, it might be a very interesting fight.
You know what? You hit the nail right on the head there, Pavel. Feints. Canelo has always been very good with feints. But somewhere down the line, that triple G jab, I think it was a jab that really threw him off a loop. It'll do that to you, that jab. It's nice, it's strong, and it's very hard to take it away. That was what El Dude was saying. He was saying, well, how can Canelo take away the jab? By the way, before we continue, Bucho just told me, I think Steve Kim retweeted this podcast, so shout out to Steve Kim, one of my favorite boxing writers, certainly one of the most entertaining as well. He's a real journalist with contacts. He's not just a guy writing for the sake of writing. Exactly. So shout out to
some
Steve
guy
Kim.
that reads the news on the internet and then acts as a reporter or something.
Yeah. Well, again, Bucho. Now I want to ask you something before we continue. El Dude said that he thinks somebody's getting knocked out in this one. He's 80% certain. I think he said 80%. You said that too before. Now I'm curious to get your thoughts on this. What do you think? You think either guy can really drop the other one and keep him down?
I think so. I mean, we've seen so many fights throughout history where in the first fight there wasn't any nobody got really hurt, but in the rematch somebody goes down. I remember Roy Jones against Antonio Tarver. So that first fight was pretty close. Then the second one, I mean, Roy Jones got knocked out, and the third one, I think Roy Jones hurt Tarver in the third one as well. They both hurt each other. So, listen, I think it can be one of those fights where all of a sudden they start hurting each other this time around. So, but that's just a feeling. I can't guarantee that's gonna happen, but I just have this fucking feeling, man.
I can't see a knockout, to be honest with you. We're talking probably about the two best chins in. I just don't see a knockout.
Me as well.
Right, Stu, you're cutting off a little bit. Stu, you're cutting off a little bit.
Breaking up.
Did you change computer?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, but every once in a while you're cutting off. Did you change your computer for the 15th time? Is that what happened?
No, it's nothing to do with my computer. It's just the signal, I think. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you now. What is this? A Sprint commercial? Listen.
Yeah, I don't see a knockout in this fight. I think we're talking about the two best and two strong boys. I think this is going to go to the points, and whoever does the better work, throws the most punches, is going to win. I mean, Canelo's a hard man to beat on points at the best of times. Let's be real. So Golovkin he's got to put it all on the line.
Can you guys see a knockdown?
Yeah, Bucho asked if you guys can see a knockdown, at least a knockdown.
Yeah, you know what? If I could throw my, let me say this real quick. With both Canelo and GGG in their first fight, I call it taking pictures. When you land a big shot on your opponent, and you just look at him like, man, you saw that big shot I just landed on you. Both Canelo and GGG were doing this mistake. They were landing a big shot, and they were just staring at their opponent, whether they followed up with a 2, 3, 4 power punch combination. I think they were more surprised that they were able to land these single power punches, and which prevented a knockdown. I think, and these guys are human. These guys bleed and sweat just like everybody else does. So I'm thinking maybe in the rematch, I'm thinking maybe in the rematch there's going to be more follow-ups, more punches being put together into combinations, which would allow more punishment, less recovery time, and possibly a knockdown.
See, this Canelo Alvarez, I mean, it's the angriest I've seen him. So maybe he's going to come and put it all on the line, let his hands go, because there's not a better sight in there's not many better sights in boxing when he's letting his hands go. But Golovkin is just a monster. He just comes forward, he walks through your punches, and he's with bad intent. That's the problem with Golovkin. He just breaks you down. But classier work, I think Canelo will probably do the classier work. But it's not always the pretty stuff that wins boxing matches. You know, it's a tough one to call. It's so hard for me to call. I think I'm going to go for Golovkin win again. Whether he gets it on the cards is another story. I think Golovkin points, but I wouldn't want to put money on it. Canelo's a top fighter.
Mm-hmm. You know, I might add one thing. From the interviews during the build up to the rematch, I've seen, you know, those interviews with Canelo and Golovkin, and you know, I don't think Canelo is a bad dude personally, but he seemed to me in those interviews, you know, in the 24/7 from HBO special, as a little bit, I don't know, on the passive aggressive side. And Golovkin, on the other hand, since I'm able to understand Russian a little bit, I knew what he was saying, and to me, he was genuinely pissed off. Like, look, he puts that up. He puts up that persona of a good boy because he doesn't have that full language proficiency. So, you know, they gotta milk him up a little bit in that matter. Mm-hmm. But if he's able to talk in Russian, you will see the another side, that no bullshit type of attitude. And what struck me was he was not pissed at the Canelo as personally, but he was angry at Canelo that was abusing the business side. You know, being the A side and having those advantages, not receiving a proper penalty for his drug usage and all that stuff. So I can definitely see some bad intentions going on to this fight, both from Canelo and Golovkin. I'm not taking away anything from Canelo, because he seems to be genuinely pissed off from Abel's comments, especially, not so much from Golovkin. So I can see just those two dudes trading leather with more energy than in the first fight, because, you know, those guys didn't really, at least Golovkin, he didn't really know what he is signing up to, as much as he does in the build-up today. So well, I can definitely see a TKO, but not a clean knockout. Right. I can see a stoppage, but no, knockout is definitely a much less possible option to happen than a points win, definitely, and TKO a little bit.
Yeah. Well, I think where Golovkin went wrong in the first fight, I think he got I've said it before on the show. I think he got stuck in third gear, where he was fighting these guys that he was much better than, just disposing of them, and then it got to the stage where a tough fight can't up the gears. I thought he was poor that night. I mean, I don't care what anyone says in the chat. Golovkin won the fight, but I thought he was poor. And it's just up in them gears when you're fighting world-class fighters. When, you know, Mark Erosion's not going to get you ready for Canelo Alvarez sort of thing. Do you know what I mean? And that's my point with Golovkin. I think he was going through the motions in his career for a little while, and I think this might have snapped that monster out of him again, because he's going to have to come. He's going to have to come Saturday night. He's going to have to put it all on the line, because it's a tough fight for him, and he's going to have to bring it, man. Mean intentions, and like
Right, and like Pavel said, man, I mean, he knows what he's in for now. And by the way, Pavel said he speaks Russian. I think somebody told me the BDA servers, somebody tried to hack the BDA servers. So now that we know that Pavel speaks a little Russian and he's up there in Eastern Europe, I think I know who it was.
It's my friends from Russian intelligence.
Yeah, I knew it. And by the way, before we continue, we do have... Sorry, but just before we continue, I want to introduce... we got Cameron on the line.
Fuck, mate, it's nice, man. You only live once. Make the most.
Hold on a second. Somebody... Steven Schneider. Shout out to Steven. Another generous contribution. He says Golovkin did fine in the first fight. Canelo, meanwhile, was juiced. Now, that's a good point, because where there's smoke, there's fire, and you have to assume that if Canelo was having something in his system for the second fight, then maybe he had something in there in the first fight. Well, anyway, like I said, we got Cameron on the line.
Fuck, mate, it's nice, man. You only live once. Make the most of life. Enjoy it. Because everybody's got their weird fetishes, man. And mine just happens to be eating fucking ass.
Alright, I don't know what's going on with the intros. Something's lagging here. So, Cameron, welcome to the show, man. Thank you for being on. Are you there, Cameron? Did everybody drop off?
No,
or?
I thought you were going to say something, Gary.
All right, now I gotta ask you. You keep changing your profile picture. People can't see it on the chat room, but you look like you're in a shed, and you're dressed like Bob Dylan. What's going on?
Yeah, Matt. Now I went to Portugal a month ago, and that was after I came back. So I'm just like a prime Clint Eastwood, man. That's what's going on there. I've got the guitar going on and everything.
All right. Well, I suppose that's one thing. Listen, we're talking about the Canelo Triple G rematch. I think you've been hearing a lot of what we're saying here. What are your thoughts on the fight?
Yeah, do you know what? I'm actually kind of looking forward to this, actually, the whole thing ending, because it's just been years of talking about this whole thing, and I'm just hoping to God that we don't get some controversial outcome again, where we get a third fight or something. I just hope to God it ends this weekend, because it's just been going on for years. We spoke about this fight. You know, the first year or so was about when is it going to happen, and then it did happen, and then, you know, it was controversial. And in the last year, obviously, with the Canelo's failed drug test, the whole thing has just been, this feels like it's been draining. I think a few of us have said, actually, so the whole thing's just been draining this year, kind of thing. It's just drained the life out of us talking about it so much. So I'm looking forward to it ending. I agree with what Stu said. I thought Golovkin won the first fight. I thought he was pretty poor. You know, he didn't go through the gears. You know, he wasn't as, you know, clinical with his offense as we've seen before. You know, he didn't work the body. I know that a lot of that was down to Canelo and the way he was fighting, but I just feel like Golovkin didn't. I just feel like he didn't pull the trigger as much as we've seen before, and I just feel like, you know, Golovkin's on the slide 100%, and this was a year ago. And if you look at the last year, you know, Golovkin's only fought Martirosyan, and that was it 2 rounds he knocked him out in or something like that. So it was a real quick job. He's not really fought. He's not really had the rounds, and he's getting old now. Whereas Canelo's still young, and he's kind of, you know, still in his, you know, physically, you can see he's in his peak. So for me, I just feel like I favour Canelo in this rematch. I think Canelo is going to win on points in a close fight, but not a robbery. I think, you know, it'll be one of those fights where, you know, Canelo will win, but I don't think many people complain about it in terms of like the first fight. So yeah, I feel like Canelo will do the job this time. No, I really do think that.
Okay, now let me ask you this, because you brought up the point of Golovkin looking old and slowing down in his last couple of fights. People in the chat room are saying that Golovkin's been looking pale. He's been looking frail and sick looking. I haven't been keeping up with them.
There's a picture on Twitter of him this week. I think it's today. He looks. I know sometimes looks can be deceiving and pictures and angles and things like that. But Golovkin this week really does look, that weight cut. He does look old. Like, he looks like he's aged 10 years in his weight cut. He's looking more like late 40s. He does look pretty bad. Like, compared to all the other weigh-ins, like, you know, he does look gaunt, but this week he does look really bad.
Can anybody else confirm that? Can anybody send us a picture via Google Hangouts? Because
I can send you the picture of Canelo having a weigh-in, you know, in his briefs.
No. You already.
I'll find a Golovkin one because someone sent it to me, and I'll send it to you in the Hangout link.
Yeah, all right. If anybody can do that,
let me ask you guys a question. Stay in the topic. We know that De La Hoya, before the first fight, he said we're going to see a totally different Canelo than what we were used to seeing. He was not lying. It was a totally different Canelo on the back foot. The question is, we don't know what kind of Canelo's coming into this fight, but we know that De La Hoya is saying that Canelo's going for the knockout. How much can we trust De La Hoya, and is De La Hoya giving up the game plan?
We can't trust De La Hoya. Come on. Well, we can't trust. Well, of course he's gonna say he's trying to sell this fucking fight, you know. So I mean, maybe he's right. Maybe it's true. He's gonna go for a knockout, but it's just a ploy to sell the fight, you know.
El dude, the bottom line is you can definitely trust Canelo more than Oscar. I think that's for sure, whether you like him or not.
Yeah, man, because
Your boxing style, man. Mute your mic, man.
Yeah, because when De La Hoya said we're gonna see a totally different Canelo, I didn't believe that. I said, no, we're gonna see the same Canelo going in there, trying to knock somebody's head off. And I knew that Golovkin does not fight like Lara, which that wasn't even bothering me. But I had a feeling that we're gonna see the same style of fighter within GGG, but I just don't know what we're gonna see from Canelo.
Yeah, that's a good point. We don't know, man. To be honest, I mean, he could fight the same way that he fought in the first fight, or he could actually be more aggressive, or more conservative. Because you know he gets tired in the middle round. So I mean, who the fuck knows? But just before we keep going, I want to introduce Kiwi Boxing. Kiwi, what's up, man?
Hey, man. How are you all?
Pretty good, pretty good. So give us your take on the fight. What do you think is gonna happen?
I think Gennady Golovkin's gonna put his foot on the gas a bit more, particularly in those later rounds. I thought he kind of cruised from round 8 last time. I don't think he's going to leave anything to chance this time. He's going to try and stop Golovkin, stop Canelo round 10 or 11, somewhere there. But who knows? You know, it's interesting to know what Canelo is going to come to the ring. There's always that speculation that he was juicing last time around, whether he's going to be able to have the stamina to keep up with Golovkin for the whole fight. So it's just going to be interesting. I'm picking Golovkin to stop Canelo in the later rounds.
Boot show. I don't know who's won the BDA, but I've just sent a picture of Golovkin.
Oh yeah, I can't put the picture right now. You'll have to wait for the BDA.
I've sent it anyway. That's what I was wanting to say.
Okay, perfect. I'll send it to BDA. We have also Boxing Style on the line, aka Anna. I think the transgender, the operation went well, I guess. Boxing Style, or? Oh, okay, there you are. Man, you left your account hanging in there, man.
What's up, guys?
What up, man?
What's up? I'm using my sister's account again.
Yeah, I know. I can see it. You left, it's still there, man. But anyways, give us your take on the fight, man.
What I think is gonna happen?
Yep.
I'm not entirely sure what's gonna happen because it depends on how Triple G comes up. I'm not entirely sure how what's gonna go down. I say chances are it can go 12 rounds. There's a big chance, but if Triple G comes out steamrolling instead of being all tentative, he might finish him. But he does not look old as I don't know how these guys are talking about. Canelo looks older to me. I'm assuming because he's not doing the clenbuterol anymore, and that was helping with his weight cut. But he's doing it naturally now, so it's draining some of his life force from after. In my opinion, I think that's what he looks like. He has a lot more wrinkles on his face. Jesus Christ! You look at
he's a ginger, man.
Yeah. Well, I guess so, but like he looks like he's old compared to last time. Like he looks like he's hitting in his 30s and shit when he's 20. Triple G looks like he just hit his 30. Like he's like 31, 32.
It's not. This is not a fucking beauty contest.
I know. You guys are talking about age. You're not talking about body. We're talking about age. I never look at the age. I look at
what are you looking at, Boxing Style?
It doesn't matter.
Body features. Last time Triple G looked like an old. His body physique looked like he was an old man. But when he fought Varnes, he didn't look like that with him. He looked different. He looked more tight. I don't know if he's going to look like that because we haven't seen the weigh-in yet. Let's see the weigh-in, and then we can make a decision off of that.
Are we forgetting that Golovkin is actually 36? Yeah, like this guy is old in boxing terms.
Yeah,
exactly, man. That's what I've been saying all along, man. He's 36. People are forgetting this.
Yes, but some people 36. You know, it's all about the
Oh
mind.
man, don't give me that shit. Yeah,
He
that's
didn't take a
true.
lot of punches though.
What's that, Pavel?
Golovkin throughout his whole career, he didn't take like a lot of punches. Plus his chin holding up really well. I don't think he's gonna age overnight on the fight night.
Exactly. Some people. Well, you can actually. That can happen. Look what happened to Kovalev.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So Pavel, you're one.
It can happen.
Okay, I'm just gonna ask you guys. So you're not the people who believe that Golovkin has been declining in his performances.
Who are you talking about? Me or are you talking about Paulo?
Anyone, whatever.
First, go ahead, Paulo. You go first.
Yeah, thanks, bro. I'm just gonna say briefly that, look, I mean, compared to his HBO debut years and the Lemieux fight, I mean, physically at least he's declined, but not to the point that he's suddenly not a dominant middleweight anymore. I mean, look, whatever the scorecard might say on the previous fight, he beat Canelo fair and square. Just the bullshit Adelaide Bird scorecard turn it upside down. So I mean,
Yeah.
look, I don't think he's slowed down to the point that he can age overnight. Physically, yes. In terms of his physical qualities like speed, he's slowed down, but he didn't decline to the point that he couldn't utilize his brilliant technical background effectively. And I think that's going to play the biggest part, in the fight, especially if when we don't know that how Canelo might come to the fight night, after that clenbuterol fiasco. So yeah, go ahead, Boxing Style.
What I was gonna say is, I think I said this last time on this channel. I think that Kell Brook, when he fought Kell Brook, he took Kell Brook lightly because it's a welterweight going up to a middleweight division. He took Danny Jacobs lightly too. They were talking about just training for 8 rounds instead of going for 12 because Danny Jacobs is a chinny guy. And as you guys might not admit it, but I think he took Canelo lightly too because it's a super welterweight going up to a middleweight. He's like, oh, I'm gonna knock the shit out of this fool. That's probably in his thought process. Subconsciously, he's thinking like that. But now, when he went 12 rounds with him, he's like, oh, okay, he got something that I might have to be concerned about. So he's gonna try a lot harder with his conditioning to fight against this guy. Conditioning, which is something like what I saw with Umas when he was fighting back in the day. He doesn't show that tenacity against Jacobs. He didn't show that tenacity against Canelo. When he gets hit with bombs, it's not like he's not getting hit with bombs. He was getting hit with bombs that almost was landing on him, and he just ate those punches and still delivered his. He could do that to Canelo, but he hadn't done it because I think he did not, he didn't really find him threatening. That's what it is. But I'm not sure with this theory of mine. I'm just going to see what happens on the 15th, and then I could be reassured that that's what it really was.
Hey, let me ask you guys a question. We've never seen Golovkin seriously injured. Did you guys think if Canelo hurts Golovkin, would Golovkin be on the back foot running around trying to recover, or do you think he's gonna tighten up and try to survive maybe with the clinch or just in the pocket?
No, he's gonna go like Manuel Marquez there. He's gonna start trading punches, man, when he's hurt.
He's gonna have let's be real though. I mean, unless Golovkin's chin deteriorated since that fight. When we saw the shots that Golovkin took of Canelo, that right hand, man, where Golovkin barely moved, which knocked out everybody else that Canelo's fought. Do we really think that Canelo can hurt Golovkin that unless Golovkin chin is just deteriorated overnight? Really?
No, but by the way, if you look at when Canelo threw that right hand that apparently didn't hurt Golovkin, right after that, Canelo came forward a bit, and you could see Golovkin took a fucking huge step back. So.
Oh yeah, of course he felt it. Yeah, but I mean,
I mean, he's not fair-fisted now, like you said. Can he knock him out or something? I don't know, man. That's a big question. I don't
He
think
can
so.
even knock him down, man. That's the thing.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think the only buddy that's gonna knock out anybody, if it's gonna be a knockout, it's gonna be Triple G. It's not gonna be Canelo. But whoever
you
wins
never
the
know,
decision,
man.
the decision, yeah, you could say you never know. That's true. Whoever wins the decision is, if it goes to decision, and if it's not a dominant performance by Triple G, then it's gonna be Canelo.
These guys are both tough as fuck, man. Like, neither of these guys are going to get knocked out. Yeah, none of them been close to getting knocked out in their professional career, as far as I mean. I know people like to bring out that Canelo Jose Cotto fight and everything like that, but that was when Canelo was a teenager and things, and blah blah blah. So, we've not seen Canelo get wobbled. We've not seen Golovkin get wobbled, and I can't see any of them getting knocked out or even knocked down. I just don't see it happening.
I could see Canelo getting knocked out. I've seen him get rocked. I've never seen Triple G get rocked.
Yeah, I mean,
I've seen him get rocked.
One thing that with this Golovkin aging thing, that's been thinking about, when you think Golovkin has been fighting at middleweight for so how many years now, and he's had to cut weight constantly. Training must be quite hard at Big Bear. I mean, high altitude. I mean, you go high altitude at that altitude, take 5 steps and you're out of breath. So I bet the training is torture. And I think it might be just catching up on his body, the hard camps, the weight loss. I mean, he's stayed in this division for a long time. Most fighters can't hang around a division for that long. They have to move up. So it just shows how dedicated he is to hover around middleweight for that long. But I think it might be catching.
Doesn't he only walk around in like 170s though, Golovkin? No?
I think Canelo,
he's more than that.
him be on the back foot, and he doesn't mind being on the back foot. I think Canelo might go for the knockout early, and maybe he's not going to worry about punching himself out. And once let's say he goes up for the knockdown early in the fight, he punches himself out. He's not going to have any trouble running around in circles, being on the back foot, trying to recuperate that stamina. I think it's in his game plan. So, being that we see Canelo on the back foot, and he could handle himself on the back foot, I think he might go for the knockdown early. It's not going to bother him whether he punches himself out, and just hopefully recuperate mid-fight, seek more punishment in the later rounds.
Look, one thing I've realized is, bro, like, you know, you guys, I know you guys don't watch MMA. Well, some of you don't. I don't know if all of you do. Whatever. I don't know if anybody of you guys watch MMA, but Conor McGregor, when he got his ass kicked by Nate Diaz, he got choked out. Before that fight, he was training his own way. He didn't fight for anybody specific, like train specifically to beat that one guy. Triple G's the same way. Finally, he's facing a real contender. Now he's like, okay, I got to train specifically for this guy. So this might be a difference. Just because you're training specifically for him, training specifically to do certain moves just for him, it might be different. There's also that scenario.
I think with the Conor thing, I mean, when you're giving away 30 pounds to someone that's got a chin like Nate Diaz, I mean, he's as tough as Nate Diaz. Then in the latter rounds, then you're going to struggle. And I think that's what Conor was whooping Nate Diaz up, man. He was whooping his ass. It's just the size as the fight went on, the size started to tell. Diaz's toughness started to come through, and he's a warrior himself, isn't he? And I think that's where Conor came a bit short. I think giving away £30 is, just unheard of in a boxing ring.
It's interesting that you bring up McGregor and Canelo, because both guys are very similar. Obviously, they got that Irish blood, and they both like to take pictures of each other in their underwear with half a heart on. I mean, this is really a good link there. But let me ask you this, because people are talking about this fight. Look, coming into this fight, it's going to come down to the judges, right? I think we've all talked about that. Now, Boxing Style made a very good point about how this time Golovkin has to come in here. First of all, it's the first time we've seen him in a rematch, as far as I can remember, because every time he beats somebody, apart from Jacobs, it's always so decisive that he doesn't need to rematch him. Now he's taking on Canelo for a second time. We've never seen whether Triple G or Canelo, for that matter, either, can they make the adjustments. Now, it's going to come down to stamina, obviously, but Abel Sanchez said that he thinks he's happy with the officials, right? So, barring any super controversial decision, I don't think there's an excuse there from that camp anymore. What do you guys think?
I mean, the officials will only come into play if you allow it to allow it to go to the points. I mean,
That's why Golovkin has to go in there, forget about points, and go for the stoppage win. And he could get it. I just don't. I don't think Canelo Alvarez is the sort of guy that you could stop very easily. I don't think he's going to get hit clean enough to be knocked out cold. And I think he's smart enough to get out of there when he's taking loads of punches as well. I just don't think a stoppage is on the cards for me. It's going to be a Golovkin points win, but he's going to have to really put it on Canelo, where the judges can't give the rounds to Canelo, because Canelo can hit you with 3 or 4 clean, flashy punches, and he's won the round. And the same with Andre Ward. I mean, Andre Ward was winning rounds against Kovalev, throwing three classy shots when Kovalev was probably landing 20. So that's Canelo's got that Andre Ward factor, where if he hits you with a nice little combination, then the round's gone, sort of thing. So he's a hard man to beat on points, but Golovkin's going to have to be on his best. I think he can. I think he's going to.
Do you guys think that Canelo looks a little frail compared to last time?
I think they both do. I think.
No. I know, but like, because Triple G is cutting weight, I think he's the bigger man, so he's cutting weight.
Oh yeah, I mean Canelo.
I mean, I see the belly's like 180 or something. I don't know, but Canelo is the smaller guy. Obviously, he just does it look like Canelo is kind of looking frail compared to last time, because Canelo kind of looked more bulked up considered last time.
I mean, look, the thing is, Canelo, you know, for me, he looks more naturally to me, however that might sound. I mean, in the last fight, he looked like a fucking tank, you know, with all those traps and this Tyson-esque neck. He doesn't look like that anymore, at least from what I can see from the pictures, but we're gonna see. I mean, for sure he's gonna rehydrate, but I don't think it's gonna play a factor in his physical strength so much as it's gonna play a factor in his stamina, because you know the more water you can hold in, especially before the fight night, the better endurance you will have. So I don't think his physical strength is gonna be greater for sure. You know, comparing from the first fight, but I don't think it will not be a big difference between his physical qualities from the first fight compared to the upcoming fight. You know, it's just I think endurance and the output, the volume output of his punches is gonna be his main key to victory, and he'll do. From the physical standpoint, you know, the nutrition and the training and all that, he's going to do everything that he can possibly do to capitalize on his strengths going to this fight.
Well, that's the big question going in. Can they both? I mean, if they're both looking frail, first of all, that goes to the point. Steven Schneider, shout out to Steven Schneider, made another contribution. Thank you, Steven. And he says Triple G looks like this camp is rough. Now, Pavel, you mentioned all that, and you mentioned that the oxygen, and I want to go back to that because Triple G trains in Big Bear, you know, with the high altitude and all that. And at 36 years old, it might, I don't know, might be taking its toll on him.
You know, Stu mentioned that before. That, you know, it might take a toll on you with the high altitude, although you get used to it fairly quickly. I guess like after 3 to 4 months, you know, especially living, not just going in the camp and training there, but you actually have to live there to get the full benefits of the so-called high altitude advantage. But to play devil's advocate, you know, Golovkin has always been a natural middleweight. You know, he didn't need to cut down a lot You know, if he decided to cut down, he would he would be like an Errol Spence just in a super welterweight. So I think that counterparts um, the exhaustion from the training point that he's a natural middleweight. I think he will benefit from the high altitude training, but it won't definitely won't be a crucial factor. I can guarantee you that.
That's interesting.
I don't know about high altitude, but I know that people live longer who live in those conditions, like
unless
in high altitude. So it might. I don't know if the health problems that go about living in conditions like that, but that's what I've
possible.
It is possible. Now look, who hasn't said something in a while? I think Cameron, have you, or Stu, or Kiwi actually hasn't said anything. Who wants to go? Somebody
I'm
go.
just sitting here looking at these judges for the fight and wondering how much of a part they're going to play if it does go the distance. Looking at Benji Estevez Jr. being the referee here. I don't know if he's going to favour one of the fighters. I don't know if he has any association with Oscar De La Hoya, as many referees seem to these days. But there's also Dave Moretti and Glenn Feldman, I think, are pretty fair judges. We also have Steve Weisfeld as well. Does anybody think they are going to play a big part in this fight?
Yeah, well, they are going to, because I've picked it to go to points.
Yeah.
They're definitely going to play their part.
Yeah, but are they going to be corrupt? Or are they going to do the right? They've already. Man,
there's pressure on him to do to score this fight right. There's pressure on him, man.
Big time.
I'll make my decision of whether it's going to be a KO or whatever off the weigh-in. That's how I'm going to make my decision.
Oh, come on. You know the weigh-in doesn't...
I can't get it off like that. I just have to see the weigh-in because he looked different in two
He wants to look at how they look, their skin color, and the wrinkles.
Like Stu said, how beautiful their body looks on the way.
I want to see them without their pants off, with their pants and.
Oh man!
Most beautiful thing
just how he looked like an old man last time, but with Vanes, he didn't look like an old man when standing next to him. I'm just gonna have to look at that and assume that he's tip top or not.
Or maybe Varnes made him look young.
Maybe that, bro.
Boxers starts to judge this fight on who has the biggest bulge on the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Boxing style zooms in on Errol Spence's nipple.
You didn't know he was gay.
Hey, some of you guys, same of you guys look at AJ and you're like, look at them muscles, bro. He's definitely gonna whoop that fool's ass. So I'm looking at it in a different perspective. I'm looking at the optimum, if he's gonna be his optimum state, or is he just gonna be like slouchy?
Yeah, but
that shit.
At least bring some sort of boxing. You're talking about wrinkles on the faces, the body.
No, you guys talk about age. You're saying he looks older. I just told you who looks older. I don't look at age. I mean, Kovalev looks like he has. He's like 50 and shit.
You're going on like Canelo looks like Michael Douglas or something, you know.
Since Star's been on the show, all he's talked about is people's body looks.
Yeah, fuck.
I don't look at the body, I swear. But this is the first time I'm gonna look at the body.
Hey, boxing style.
People in the chat are saying that Golovkin looks drained and stuff. I don't know. I haven't seen anything like that yet.
The drain is because he's cutting down a lot of weight. That doesn't mean anything. Like, I mean, it does mean something, though. I'm not gonna say it doesn't mean anything. It does mean something. But he's still got like 3 more pounds to go down. From
we're still exactly. It's the fight. It's fight week. They're both draining. So
the draining. We'll see how it looks during the weigh-in, and then we'll see how they look during the fight.
Oh yeah.
I'll get my judge off of the weigh-in. I'm gonna say what I'm gonna say.
I agree with you on that. I mean, I'm just gonna watch their pants on the way, and when they get stripped down, you know, who's gonna have who's gonna
shorts Canelo wears before he picks him. Do you know what I mean?
You guys have any idea how he's gonna prepare? Like what is he gonna do? No, you have no clue. You some of you guys think that he's gonna do the exact same shit as last time. So, or he could just improve. He could do something else. Both sides. You have no idea. So I'm just gonna go off the physique. You don't know what they're doing. What kind of
we get your point. Okay, hold on. BDA, we have Precise and Recognize on the line.
Oh, okay. So hold on a second.
Yes.
Dependent upon how you interpret the data.
What's up with all the transvestites in Hollywood, though?
Because if you're a postmodernist and you don't have any standards, you're always going to keep moving the goalpost, and you're never going to stick to your own standards because you don't have any standards.
Don't get fooled when they tell you that the crime rate is down in New York. Every time I watch the local news, they're always talking about, well, there was a stabbing here, there was a stabbing there, there was a shooting there, but the crime is down.
All right, gentlemen, thank you for being on. We also got, before we continue, sorry, we also got Abstract on the line.
I love the smell of napalm in the morning.
What do we mean when we say throwing punches with bad intention? We mean we want to seriously hurt people.
All right. All right, so who do we start with? Bucho, you tell me.
I think Precise got there first.
All right, Precise, how are you, man?
Yay! I get to go first. What's man? On.
All right, sorry, you broke up a little bit there.
Well, fuck me. How's this?
Yeah, still breaking up, man. I think it's the vegans. They're after you, man. By the way, what do I call you?
Ecuadorian weather.
Yeah, Ecuadorian. Do I call you Precise? Do I call you Carnival now? I mean, what's going on?
Suzanne.
Oh, Susan is.
Yeah, you have an alter ego, like boxing style. Anna.
Yeah.
Sexy.
I'm recognized with X.
Yeah, well, actually, X and Recognize are enemies.
I don't know what you're talking about exactly.
Exactly. There you go.
Well,
by the way,
fuck all that bullshit.
What's up, guys?
What's going on, man? Am I sounding any better?
No, you're kind of breaking up a bit, man.
Breaking up, but it's
I'm gonna jump off and come back.
All right.
All right.
It's that porn I was downloading.
Yeah, that's you gotta. I learned my lesson the other day. And by the way, we're also having connection issues from.
He's downloading vegan porn.
what the fuck is vegan porn? But we're also having connection issues.
By the way, Steven Schneider, thank you for your contribution. He says, "Full house today, you degenerates."
That's right. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Full house. That's the problem. We don't have. I see a dude.
Definitely, you won't find a bigger bunch of.
Nah, man, it's a bit of a. Do you know what, man? Do you know what? Let's just not talk about that. Fuck's sake.
All right. I think we're back. By the way. So Recognize. Let's do what Recognize just said. Let's do that. Let's get it. Bucho, can you take down the predictions?
Yes, sir.
All right. So by the way, people, I hope everybody in YouTube, because there is a delay. There we go. We're back. I think you can listen now to what we're saying.
Can I start off quickly? Because I got to jump off.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Sorry about that, guys. All right. So this is the way I see it. Okay. I see the fight playing out more or less like the first fight. The way I score fights, clean and effective punches, who's the aggressor, who's controlling the action in the ring. I still can't see where Canelo can do that for 12 rounds and come up with, enough rounds to win. I don't think he can counterpunch effectively enough to offset the aggressor and the cleaner and effective punches coming from Golovkin. That's the way Canelo has to win. He either has to counterpunch Golovkin, who is always the aggressor in every fight he has, is always throwing more punches than his opponent, landing more punches. The only way Canelo can win, counter that is obviously by counterpunching, where he makes Golovkin pay and look stupid. I don't think he'll do that enough. He won't bank enough rounds to do that. So what I'm going to say is going to happen. I think Golovkin wins. I think he even scores a knockdown in this fight. I believe that it'll go 12 rounds. I will not be surprised if he stops him. Remember, that Canelo had some type of knee surgery. I believe that Canelo is going to be good enough to make the fight competitive while it lasts, or it probably goes the distance. It goes 12 rounds. I think he'll be competitive in just about every round, but in just about every round he'll be on the tail end like the last time. And so my official pick is Golovkin wins the rematch by decision with a knockdown.
Okay, so a knockdown decision. So it's going to be unanimous, you think?
I don't know. I can never predict what the scorecards are going to be, but I think
Come on.
You know, he wins a decision. Yeah, he should win. It's going to be one of those fights where he should have won a unanimous decision. I think this fight is going 3, and the only way the fight happens going 3 fights, I believe, is Golovkin has to win. I think the judges will be aware of that because if Canelo wins, if he goes 12 rounds and they give the fight to Canelo, even if they it's corruption, Golovkin clearly wins. Canelo's never going to fight Golovkin again. He won't fight him a 3rd time if he wins. So I think that I say Triple G wins.
Do you know what? Right? On top of what Recklows just said, even if Canelo wins a robbery decision, I hope to God there is no 3rd fight. I just hope it just ends on a robbery. I just want this shit to end, man.
Yeah, it's got a bit tiring now. I mean, it's a bit like the Joshua Wilder saga. I mean, there's only so much you can talk about something before you start pulling your fucking hair out.
Yeah, man.
You can't
Wait a minute.
You can't manage. Oh, let me finish.
Remember, De La Hoya.
I'll need some cereal or something.
Come on.
Yeah, but remember, De La Hoya is also came out already saying that he's hoping for the trilogy, and that went back to the question that they asked him if Canelo would ever be as great as Chavez Sr. And De La Hoya said, "Well, it depends on the trilogy of the Golovkin fight, and 2 more stellar fights would determine that. So get ready for the trilogy."
Oh,
yeah, I had to get Chavez in there, didn't you?
Yeah, he had to bring Chavez.
Yeah, man, I just hope to God that there is no. If there's a trilogy, I want to top myself.
But even if Canelo wins and it's an entertaining fight, you can still sell a 3rd fight, though.
Oh,
you could sell a 3rd fight, but the problem will be there that I think Canelo will move on. I think he'll move on.
And to be fair, he's got every right to move on. He's fought Golovkin twice. Right. There's a lot of fighters out there that won't even fight him once. So he's got every right to move on.
Right, because Canelo's young. Think about it like this. Canelo's young, right? And he's like, look, I got 2 fights with him. I don't care how I get the win, whether it's legit or, there's a little bit of controversy. I'm going to move on. Where if it's the other way around, Golovkin beats him, it leaves Canelo in a spot where I need that 3rd fight, especially with Golovkin getting older. You know what I'm saying? I may need that 3rd fight just to, brush up my resume and redeem myself, so to speak. You know what I'm saying? And whereas the other way around, I just can't see. If Canelo wins, I just can't see him saying, unless he blows him out. Let's say he blows Golovkin out, right? I doubt it, but let's just say he does, right? Then he'll be interested in the 3rd fight because he's like, okay, but if it's the same thing, it's a competitive fight that you could have given to Golovkin and they give it to Canelo. Canelo's not going to take that risk.
Yeah, no, I don't see a 3rd fight happening. I think Canelo's going to fight the winner of Lemieux and O'Sullivan next.
Oh no!
Wait, all right. So you got the turn. It's my turn now.
What do you want about?
I'll let you. Hey, Matrix. I want to know something though. You said Triple G is gonna win, right? You said Triple G is gonna win, right?
Yeah, I got Triple G winning the fight. Yeah.
You said unanimous, right?
Well, I mean, it should. I would say it should be. Yeah.
Is it gonna be a close fight though?
It's gonna be like the first fight. I think more. I think that, like I said, I think Golovkin's gonna score a knockdown. It's gonna be competitive like the first fight. There'll be some new. Remember, these guys are gonna make adjustments. It's gonna come down to who makes the better adjustment. So it's gonna be competitive in the sense like the first fight. I think Golovkin scores a knockdown. I think he was getting close to scoring a knockdown in the first fight.
So you think they're not going to rob him if it's a close fight? Is that what you're saying?
Hey, Max Kellerman, what's with all the fucking questions, man?
I got the mic, bro. I got the mic.
All right, boxing style. Hold on. All right, let's introduce Jimmy.
Jimmy, yeah, hold on.
Hello. I had a bad trip at a wedding in Maine, and it was a stormy night, right? I'm on LSD. Oh, I was fucking freaking out. It was horrible. I'll never take it again.
All right,
I think
Jimmy,
that might
good
get
to have
the
you on
wrong
board.
Jimmy, what's up, guys?
Not much,
Did
man.
I just take the floor from somebody?
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh no, because wasn't somebody just about to make a point? I don't want to, you know what I mean? I can come after them.
Go ahead, bro. Just go ahead.
Jimmy, it's only boxing style. He takes the floor off everybody anyway.
Yeah,
so.
exactly. Max Kellerman here.
What's going on, guys? So what's the
bro? Get it right.
What's most people going with it? Most people going with Triple G by decision.
No, Canelo on points, man, for me.
Yeah, Canelo on points for you. Stu, did you already give yours?
Yeah, Golovkin points, mate. Golovkin.
So far, we've only gotten recognized predictions, so I guess we can start writing them down.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's do
What
that.
you guys don't know. Okay.
No, let's do that. Let's get
Butcher,
predictions.
Rascot in the chat has said Recognize is always picking somebody to win, but we're always talking about somebody winning by knockout, then picks them to win on decision. That's a good point. Recognize always picks like 2 or 3 results.
True. I wrote Recognize. He said Triple G by decision. Then there's gonna be knockdowns, and then he says he might stop Canelo. So, but I think he said decision. At the end of the day, he said Golovkin by decision.
I don't pick elite fighters to get knocked out. You got to knock them out for me to pick that. I can't go. Canelo's gonna get knocked out. The guy never been knocked out before.
Yeah.
Never.
By the way, sorry, Steven Schneider, another contribution. He's gonna make us millionaires. This guy. He says Jimmy in the building. Boxing trolls. That's right. When Jimmy's in the building, no more trolling. So let's go with the predictions, because we got Recognizes prediction. He thinks Golovkin's gonna be too much. His space is gonna be too much for Canelo. And by the way, we make predictions, and then on Sunday after the fight, if you get it wrong, you're gonna get it. This is what you're gonna be hearing if you get it wrong.
You blew it! You're a fucking retard!
That's right. We're gonna go into you guys. So no pressure. No pressure.
But go ahead, we've had the Abstract on the call for about an hour. No one's brought him in, man.
That's right. That's true. Fuck. I thought Butcher was gonna do it. Abstract, are you there?
Oh, man, no, I've only been here like 10, 15 minutes. I came on just after precise, man.
Cameron likes to exaggerate. Now listen.
That's a beautiful.
Cheers, Cameron. Though.
I like to show respect for all panelists.
There you go. Okay, let's start with Abstract.
Bullshit. But anyways,
Butcher, let's start with Abstract's prediction.
I'll take heed.
Let's start with Abstract's prediction. Abstract, thank you for being on the show.
Go ahead, Abstract. You have the floor.
You have the floor. You let us know what you get in your head.
All right, so like, here's the thing for me. Yeah, obviously none of us know for sure about particularly whether Canelo was like juicing before, whether he was on PEDs before and stuff like that. I've had suspicions about him for a while. Thought he wondering how the fuck he was shrinking down and stuff like that. So like based on that, and based on the possibility that this might be him off of him, that combined with the fact he's lost quite a bit of weight, the surgery that Recognize pointed out as well, and plus he's relatively inactive for Canelo. Like he hasn't fought for it's only about a year, isn't it? But I think Triple G, for me, Triple G, I think was a little bit wary about what was coming back in the first fight, and I just think that Triple G felt Canelo's power. And realised he wasn't going to hurt him. I mean, if Jacobs coming in like a cruiserweight ain't going to knock Golovkin out, there's no way Canelo is. And I think based on that, and based on the fact that Triple G was blatantly robbed in the last fight for me, I think Triple G's going to knock him out. I think he's going to go for it, and I think he's going to knock him out. And because of how the last fight went, and because of Canelo's weight loss and stuff, he definitely looks smaller to me. I think Golovkin's going to knock him out. So that's my prediction. I think.
I think the same, mate. But the thing is, still gotta check that physique out, bro.
Ah, Jesus.
Yeah.
Gotta take that.
I mean, well, I saw quite a recent one today, and he definitely looks considerably smaller to me than. I mean, if you remember, I did a video on my channel like before, I think it was just before the last fight, or it might have been when the PED thing happened, but he was like fucking huge. He is not anywhere near that big now, and I think that's gonna affect him, especially if.
That might suit him. He was too muscly in the middle, the first fight. Too muscly, too big. It just didn't suit. Like I said, took away his speed, took away a bit of stamina. Muscle burns oxygen, didn't it? The more muscle you got, the less stamina you got. Simple as. So,
yeah, but he's always had stamina issues, Canelo, and this is the thing. If, as I suspect, Canelo's been doing PEDs for a while, if he's actually off of them now, how's that going to affect him?
Not good. Aggression-wise, unless he's taking Clomid and some other enhancers, but can also make him piss dirty if he does. It's the I can't stress it enough. The psychological effect. If you've been on a regular dose of juice, you've been juicing for years regularly, and then you're suddenly interrupted. Just the psychological effect alone, the aggression is gone from you. It really makes a big difference in your aggression. But
absolutely, and you're in the ring with Golovkin, who is a killer. You know, I think all of these factors combined are gonna play a part, and I think Golovkin stops Canelo.
And Teddy Atlas said too. He today I think it was today, he saw him this morning, and he tweeted out and actually even did it was a special on ESPN. And he said that to him that Canelo looks substantially smaller than he did last time. So,
yeah, well, I've seen recent.
At this point, thank you, Jimmy.
I'm just saying, I haven't got a chance to see him yet myself. I'm just only going by now what you just said and what Atlas has said.
Yeah, well, I saw. But that makes sense though, because they have to make weight. They have to make weight though, man. So these guys are slimming down in order to make that weight.
All right, Abstract, you were going to say something?
No, well, it's all right. All I was going to say was like I saw a training video today, and it was about 3 or 4 days old. The footage when it was from, and you know, like it's fucking a couple of days to the fight, and he's not going to put on that much weight in that amount of time. Like he's quite a bit smaller than he was the last time.
Hey man, back to that fact that Matrix brought up about the ankle. I'm sorry, the knee. That was an ongoing problem that was nagging Canelo, and with that nagging, aching knee, he was able to move around in the ring as much as he did versus Golovkin. But now that he's recovered from that particular surgery, took his time off as well. How much more movement is going to give? How much more agility are we going to see from Canelo, or is it about the same?
Well, he's always had pretty much the same. Oh.
Just on that weight thing, Canelo puts on 20 pounds overnight easily. He piles the weight on. So,
you know, you can always tell what body part is always when you can see a juice head. There's certain body parts that, to me, it's almost like fucking. When someone has abnormally large traps, traps are always affected from the steroids. And even actually now...
I recognize you got your mic on, man. What's going on? Jesus.
Recognize as a microphone from the 1960s.
All right. Sorry, Jimmy. So hold on. Jimmy, you were talking about...
We have to keep going with the predictions here. Because so I have recognized prediction, I have actual prediction. Who's next?
Butcher, hold on, just to because we've talked about this before where Jimmy was talking about the traps. We've talked about that before. Jimmy, you were talking about the traps, and when people juice, they get abnormally large, right? You said?
Yes, the traps are, because it's your forearms, your calf, and your traps are all the same type of fibers, the fast twitch fibers, because, you know, they move a lot, whereas like your chest, your buttocks, your thighs aren't. And, but
Jimmy,
yeah, so
what about
those...
the abs? Jimmy, what about the abs?
Well, the abs are the abs are the same.
I'm talking about the pregnant abs. You know, that's the only way I can describe them.
Well, that's usually the pregnant abs. You mean like the bloated abdominal muscle, like you see the guys on the stage and they turn sideways, they look pregnant. Well, that's because your intestines grow, and you see human growth hormone doesn't just make your muscles grow. Well, what it does is steroid takes a muscle cell and swells it. Human growth hormone duplicates it, splits it.
Yeah, did people
I think
fall
Jimmy
off? Oh yeah,
finished off.
yeah, he
Jimmy's
fell
gone.
off.
Some people drop off.
Some people. Oh, we got Pavel back. But yeah,
Hey,
like I was gonna.
what do you guys think about the shoes that Canelo Golovkin is now gonna be wearing? This new designing shoes to catch Canelo. Do you think that'll play a difference?
You talking about
What
shoes?
What shoes?
It's
I heard Canelo Golovkin is getting a new type of shoe design, especially for this fight.
That's also what I'm going to look at. The shoes, man. The shoes also matter.
Sure, but whoever has the best haircut of the way in next.
Yeah.
No, I'm just looking at his cock.
Yeah, exactly.
Who's got the best design house? Do you prefer Canelo's Mexican motif in his house, or do you prefer Golovkin's Art Deco style?
Who's got the best looking girl? That's what
Yeah,
I
exactly.
That's
a good question.
On that.
Oh, Canelo for sure.
But that's a good question though, because as far as I see, from every single time I see Canelo after a fight, he has a different woman.
Yeah, he's dating this chick right now.
All right, we got Jimmy back. All right, sorry.
Be looking at
Jimmy's back. Jimmy's back.
No,
All right.
Oh, I don't even know where I hung up on. Sorry, I just kept. I just looked down on my phone. I'm like, wow.
Well, because we were talking about the fat abs. You know, when people have those protruding stomachs because of steroids. But I wanted to get back to the traps. That's what we were talking about.
What's that?
I wanted to get back to the traps because you were talking about when you start.
Canelo had them too.
Okay. Well, real quick, in the abs, that's just the human growth hormone. That doesn't just make muscles grow, that makes every cell in your body grow. So you take that along with insulin, your intestines actually grow. And that's why you get the bloated abdominals. But the trap muscles, because you work your traps so often, right? Think about it. All day long, you're working your traps. Every time you open a door, every time you do anything. So when you're on steroids, normally you need a lot of food and rest. Your body only grows, heals when you're sleeping during REM sleep. That was the reason why they invented the GHB back in the day. Bodybuilders wanted to get into a fourth realm of sleep quickest. So what happens when you're on steroids, your body heals. That's the important part of steroids. It's the healing factor. Your body heals from any exertion. So as you're moving your traps all day, they grow from the steroids. So that's the reason why steroids, it's usually a sign someone's on juice, because they get abdominally bigger abs. Like you just go to a bodybuilding show, a natural show, and you can see the difference from the traps, like right away, like you just said, bro. It's funny, you didn't do steroids and you knew that yourself. But
I'll tell you what as well, what you were saying before, Jimmy, about the lack of aggression and stuff, like up until this video I saw today, I can honestly say I've never ever seen Canelo fucking smile. He always looks fucking like so like angry and like pissed off and that, and yet in the footage today he was fucking smiling and grinning. He actually looked quite like, I don't know, quite lighthearted.
There's so much aggression involved in steroids. You got to remember the original idea for steroids wasn't for bodybuilding. It was for the Waffen SS. It was part of the elite Nazi soldiers. You know what I mean? So they gave them testosterone suspensions, basically testosterone suspended in water. Very, very painful injection site. But anyways, you don't give you much mass, but the aggression, you're like, and those guys, the guys would say, man, I shot that motherfucker 3 times. He kept coming. And that's the part of it. So it's emotionally, even when it's not physically affecting you, it's in your head. That's just a dangerous. I tell anybody who goes into boxing, you don't want to be taking steroids because you'll emotionally become dependent on him. I'm just curious on how he handles. I just want to see his body language on the scales.
Just like boxing style, he wants to see that. Boxing style wants to see. Yeah, boxing style wants to see the whole body. He wants to see every crevice, every nook and cranny.
The thing is, like, boxing style keeps going on about it like a homosexual, whereas Jimmy.
Yeah, boxing style is, he lives out in LA, so you got to be careful with those guys.
Get out of here.
LA. All right, listen, hold on. I want to get back to the prediction thing because, and by the way, if anybody can send us a pic through Google Hangouts or at least give us a link or something of Golovkin, because people keep saying that Golovkin looks weak and old and wrinkled up.
I did that about an hour ago.
Oh yeah. Hold on, I'll get it.
Yeah, please. And okay, so let's continue. Well, actually, Bucho can do 2 things at the same time, so we'll wait for the predictions. But I gotta just before we continue, real quick, we did a video asking people for the predictions. So let's read a couple of the predictions from the BDA universe. As you can see, I'm putting up the comments there. Oh boy! All right, hold on a second. There we go. Simi says Reynoso uses his crafty hand speed to throw in the towel. Crafty hand speed. Souping all close says he'd better not dip Canelo's gloves in clenbuterol. Uncle Burn apostrophe says, has Canelo butchered his chances? A lot of puns in there. And then Supan Old Close says, last fight Canelo couldn't even hurt Triple G with his best steroid shots. No pun intended. Canelo, give me my fight. Shout out to Canelo says, Golovkin stops Canelo in the 9th round. Bin Laden, what a name. He says, Triple G by murder. My goodness. Larry Pine says 2 new judges who have been involved in 5 Golden Boy events in 2018. Triple G needs a knockout or at least 2 knockdowns. What the hell? Rijito Esplito, whatever. Triple G says Triple G gonna give him the Curtis Stevens treatment. Excella Gion says Triple G TKOs Canelo and loses by split decision. He loses by split. Jeff Shin says if Triple G wins, should have been by knockout, otherwise Canelo wins by scores.
You can actually see that, can't you? You can actually see Canelo get knocked out and then call the fighter for about 5 minutes until he wakes up and lets the fight go on again.
Jeff Shin says if Triple G wins...
Earlier... I'm sorry, man.
No, go ahead.
Earlier you guys were critiquing, not all of you guys, but some of you were critiquing Gennady Golovkin's images, by the way he looks. It's playing a toll on him in this particular camp. Now, we know this particular fight with Canelo was supposed to take place in May. Canelo canceled that particular fight. And if you guys remember the pictures, Gennady Golovkin had a belly, man, like a gut, prior to fully giving the term. You guys saw that particular
that able stock code.
There's like a green screen. There was like a green screen behind him, and you could see the Golovkin was very flabby in that picture, man.
That's the Canelo money, bro. Get him all the tacos, canceadas, all that shit, bro. That's
but how long ago was that though? That was like.
I think that's an old pic. I think that's from the first fight.
No.
This is for the rematch.
Yeah, for the promo thing they were doing.
How many weeks out was it though? How many weeks out was it? Like 5 or 6 weeks or some shit like that? From what I remember.
The reason I brought it up because at this stage in boxing, I mean, everything's taken so seriously, just because of the caliber of fighters they're fighting nowadays. So every game plan is either secretive. The more you know about your opponent, the better. Do you think Canelo did this on purpose, trying to make Team Golovkin believe that this fight was not going to happen in 2018, allowing Golovkin to relax, maybe put on a couple of extra pounds, and then announce this fight for September, and then having Golovkin to rush back into the particular treatment?
Nah, not for 1 minute. I think that
they're not that clever.
Nah, Golovkin knew that fight was going to happen. That's why, he took an easy tune-up, didn't he? I mean, who was he meant to fight? He was meant to fight Canelo, and then he took Mark Rosen as an easy tune-up, didn't he? And
he's supposed to fight Derevchenko, man.
Yeah, but I think he knew.
The mandatory. It was his mandatory, weren't it, Derevchenko?
Yeah, but I think he knew that Canelo fight was round the corner. I mean, it had to be done. I mean, Canelo couldn't go elsewhere really after that decision. He had to man up and take the rematch. I think,
all right, Bucho, do you get the picture?
Yeah, I'm texting Cameron. I don't see the picture anywhere.
From what I remember,
I'll send it to the. No, let me check now. I think I sent it to the BDA Hangouts. Hang on a minute.
From what I remember, what L Dude is talking about, Boxing Ego put that shit up, and people were saying that it's an old pic or some shit like that. That's from like the first fight.
Huh?
And I've seen that shit before from the first fight too. That belly sticking out and shit.
How many boxers do you know that out of camp looked in terrible shape? I mean, I could name 20 off my head. I mean, it's not. Why are you going to train all year round unless you're a fucking boxing nut? Do you know what I mean? Most fighters don't even touch a gym when they're out of camp. I mean, Amir Khan is another one. Amir Khan don't go near a gym when he's.
That was the complaint, the critic for Jaime Munguia. Why doesn't he move up or whatever? But if you guys remember that fight versus Saddam Ali, he only had like 4 weeks to prepare for that fight, and he was already in shape. So some of these guys do it just to get that big fight. But once they're champion, I mean, who knows?
Yeah, that's a good. I mean, listen, Apology makes a good point. I mean, we can't base the fight, on the wane, but didn't Golovkin look drained a little bit in the first Canelo fight. I remember after the weigh-in, he was sucking on that vitamin water pretty quick. I mean, I know both guys are about 180 pounds when they walk around outside of the ring. Well, maybe not. Maybe Golovkin's more like a 170 something. But didn't he also look a little bit bad against Kell Brook?
I think with the Kell Brook situation, what happened there was I heard something about him getting caught in traffic. I think Precise talked about this. I don't know if he's still on, but Precise talked about there was something going on where they may have messed with him in terms of his like hotel room, or his hotel was too far from the stadium where they fought at. Excuse me. So I don't know if that was it. To me, Golovkin always looks the same. You know, when I went to the Cotto fight, when I went to the Cotto Gil fight, that was a few years back. I want to say 3 years back or something. It was at the Barclay. I saw Golovkin. I was kind of amazed at how small he was. You know, again, I am a pretty big guy, but I just always picture him being. I was significantly taller by 4 or 5 inches, and I had him in weight by a good, if I had to guess, somewhere around 30 to 40 pounds.
Just where you fat
walk around.
Wait a minute. Aren't you 6'1"?
2.
Oh, okay, makes sense. Because he's 5'10".
BDA, there's an article. There's an article that's just been published by Boxing Scene, and it's Canelo's complaining about the judge that scored the fight to Golovkin is judging this fight, and Canelo's complaining that they've kept the judge who scored it to Golovkin. The irony of that.
Yeah, Canelo's gonna lose this fight. He's too distracted. He's gonna lose. I don't think he. I think some of the the weight. I kind of agree with. I kind of agree with El Dude. I agree with El Dude that I don't make much of, you know, a guy being small. In terms of when they're trying to drop weight. I agree with El Dude on that. But there's something about him, and something that Jimmy brought up. He doesn't seem lit, like gaslit for a fight. You know what I'm saying? He seems too calm, getting into like petty back and forth with Golovkin. You know, Golovkin is making more sense. He's not. You know, he's like, who has Golovkin for? I'm like, yeah, you're right. I mean, besides you, you're a nobody. So you know, I guess you're making yourself look bad by saying that. I think he's too distracted. I think he's gonna lose this fight.
You know what? You mentioned that the other day about how he was shooting himself in the foot by critiquing Golovkin. Meanwhile, he should have lost against Golovkin in the first fight. And speaking of Golovkin, Cameron sent us the picture that people are talking about. I think it's one of the pictures. Yeah, he definitely, look at that. He definitely looks gaunt a little bit. And if you also look at his traps compared to Canelo, I mean, I know he's taller than Canelo, so that's why maybe he's not as full. And he's wearing a fucking white-ass early 90s sweater. So maybe that's why he looks a little bit, but his face definitely looks, look at that.
And you know what, with GGG, he's never been a wild fighter or someone who just, he's very conservative. But now does he is gonna pressure to attack the body more, to go in there for the knockout more? And if he is, would that give him would that put GG in a reckless position by trying?
You're cutting off their.
Dude, I don't think Triple G is reckless at all, man. I don't think he might take fighters lightly, but
I got a question for the panel. If Golovkin does win this fight and the Canelo rematch is out of the question, who would you like to see Golovkin fight next?
The winner of Saunders.
I didn't hear that, Cameron. Sorry.
If Saunders wins against Andrade, I'd like to see that fight.
Yeah,
me and all. Me too.
Yeah, because there's not really a lot of options for Golovkin at middleweight really anymore, unless he fights Charlo. But I don't think Charlo will take that fight.
He shouldn't fight anybody.
Sorry?
Charlo got to fight Danny Jacobs before that happens.
Yeah, I don't know what options there for him. I mean, it's Billy Joe Saunders, and then there's no point in him stepping back and fighting some guy who's going to blow away in 2 rounds.
I think he could retire, Stu. I think he could retire. Like he's lost a step for sure. And what more would he have to prove after beating Canelo? He wouldn't have no more to prove. He's not a big middleweight, so I don't really see him moving up. I think he could retire, mate. He's going to make a lot of money.
Yeah, I think so.
You know what they said? You know what Abel Sanchez said? Abel Sanchez said that if there's anything that excites him to get back in the gym, then he will fight somebody. If somebody, I guess maybe Saunders might be that person.
I think he should fight Grove if Groves wins.
Or Groves. Groves would be pretty interesting to watch.
First of all, let me clarify something. Apology, you can't speak until we introduce you. That's the way it works. You know that. You've been here a long time. What's the matter with you?
However, like, when are you going to...
Well, listen, we got a full house. It's pretty hard to let everybody get in a word edgewise. So, well, here's your intro.
Speak of the devil, and it shall appear.
She just wanted the drama and you two to fight over her. That's what women do.
Your punishment must be more severe.
All of you.
Bitches are stupid. I treat them like shit. That's how you get one to eat a dick. Never be sweet to a bitch.
There we go. All right.
Don Corleone's in the house.
That's right.
So, dude.
Hello. How's everybody doing?
Good to have you on board. All right, now I gotta know. All right, so we got recognized back. Yeah, because we have a full house and Jimmy dropped off, and then Apology came back in. So I think. All right, so yeah, we only have about 2 spots left.
Take Jimmy's
right
place. I kind of feel bad.
No, well, I mean, don't worry.
I thought Recognise was supposed to drop off for work.
Well,
I thought so too, but when you're the boss, anything.
Yeah, I dropped out earlier. I was trying to ask the question. Do you guys think Gennady Golovkin is going to go into recklessly?
Hold on. One at a time. What's that, dude?
Do you guys think Gennady Golovkin is pressure now to go in there more recklessly by connecting those body punches? Because in that first fight, that's what he's being critiqued. He didn't go to the body, he didn't land those body punches. But Gennady Golovkin, this is more chance to go in there.
All right, you're cutting off, man.
I think I know what Eldu. I think Eldu said what Eldu's saying is, does he think Golovkin is going to go to the body like he didn't in the first fight? But I got to say that I've watched some of your videos, BDA. I thought the same thing too. I thought, like you pointed out, you got to give Canelo some credit. He blocked his body well. He just did.
Absolutely.
He had the defense was on point for the body. He was smart in that regard, and so I don't know. Is Canelo going to be good on defending his body again? I have no idea. I don't think it was. I think Golovkin tried, but Canelo didn't give him any opportunities.
I got one insight on the Matrix. Abel said they have a new body shot they're going to try on Canelo. It's called the Ginger Bender.
Okay. I thought you were serious. I thought you were serious for a moment there.
This style is drunk.
I'm not joking, bro. Check the videos out. I watched it like today or yesterday. I can't remember.
Boxing style is pulling the Earl Spence.
Ginger Bender. I shit not. It's some corny ass fucking name for it. Ginger Bender.
As long as no one throws no Andre Wood cock shots, I don't really care, like, you know.
Yeah.
It might be that. It's
That's
a
a good
Ginger
point.
Bender right there.
Well, you know what? Abel Sanchez has got a game plan, hasn't he? I'm a bit late for that, innit? Do you know what I mean?
Nah, man, don't discredit Abel Sanchez because of Usyk, man. Come on, don't. Just don't do that. Just don't do that, bro. He was out. Garcias was just out.
For it either. What did he do that deserves any? I wouldn't even have paid the guy. What did he do?
He has more championship champions on his fucking roster.
More championship champions.
List.
All right, listen, guys.
Yeah, boxing style. Let people talk, man.
All right, hold on a second. Hold on a second. Enough of this. Enough of this. Hold on. Enough of this malarkey. Enough of this malarkey. Let's get. We talked about this an hour ago, and we didn't even get to it. Let's get to fucking predictions. All right. I'm gonna start with Apology because he got cut off a little bit there. Apology. Please give us your predictions. We're gonna put them on tap. We're gonna get them on tap on the record. So, go ahead. Apology. Who do you think wins this one?
GGG 10th round TKO.
Oh, 10th round TKO. All right. So, by the way, abstract, just to get, because I'm starting a new list, Did you said Triple G by knockdown? No, I mean he was gonna score a knockdown and then a decision or knockout. What did you say again?
No, I said he stops him. I don't know if he actually knocks him out or it's a TKO. But I do think he stops him because I think he'll go for it, and I think Canelo won't take the shots as well. As he did the first fight, and plus Triple G won't be as worried about what's coming back.
Yeah. Okay. Recognize had Triple G by decision. He's not sure.
And
he
a
always says,
knockdown. And a knockdown.
yeah.
And knockout.
I got you down for that.
Cameron's just playing. Cameron's just trying to get at me. I understand, Cameron. You're down with X.
Hey,
But
Cameron, you should do what Recognize does. You might get one right for once.
Oh, my goodness
you
gracious!
You took a double stab at Cameron.
Everyone.
Damn, man.
Cameron looks like he's waiting for the shitters on his profile pic.
Boxing style just tries to get more pussy in 1 month than he does in his whole lifetime. But that's
Jeez Louise. My goodness gracious. What's going on here? What is going on? I thought we were all friends. All right, let's get to Jimmy.
Nah.
Jimmy, you're at the far end. Jimmy, you're at the far end of the Google Hangout here. From what I can see, you're on the far right. I mean, no, sorry, far left. What am I talking about? So, what's your prediction, Jimmy? What do you got?
All right, so who's fighting again? No, I'm just kidding.
Jeez. Come on.
Honestly, I'm gonna go with fuck it because I want to do something that's pretty risky. It's safe to say G by decision. I'm gonna go with Triple G by stoppage in the I'm actually gonna go early. I'm gonna say Triple G stoppage in the 6th or 7th round.
Whoa, okay.
Just because I know nobody else has done it, and that way. Now, what'd you say? What happens to the Sunday? What's going to happen if we're wrong?
You get banned from the show.
Oh, is it banned? I thought we just get roasted.
Well, we roast you and then we ban you.
You gotta call it 5-0 on me. I'm coming.
No, I'm kidding. Obviously. All right. So you got You're taking a risk here. You're taking a leap, and you're going with Triple G by mid fight stoppage.
BDA, I think he dropped off. He should be back. I think he dropped off.
Yeah, a lot of people keep dropping off. All right, let's go with apology.
When you can climb the cops on him.
I don't know what's going on, but listen, let's go with apology before he starts eating cereal and can't talk anymore.
He did it. He did his, man.
No, apology picked Triple G 10 for.
I'm sorry, I meant boxing style.
Can I just say, Sector in the chat is really going in on Abstract for some reason. He says, somebody hit Abstract with a ginger bender. This motherfucker has the charisma of an unpolished doorknob.
All right, first of all,
what's going on?
First of all, fucking Cameron keeps reading the chat. He loves reading the chat and then picking the worst comments that we can find in there. Yeah. Abstract. They're calling this guy Sector 23, which sounds like a military base or something. He's calling you boring, man. What's up with that?
Yeah, I don't know, man. Fucking, when you're at the top, you always get hate, man. Fucking.
Yeah, it's like Mayweather.
Jealousy's a bitch, man.
That's it. Haters gonna hate, man.
All right. Well, it comes with the territory, like Mayweather always says. I
mean,
right, so we got...
the thing is, anybody that's in there that's got anything to say could just come on the thing and debate or something, but they don't. They sit behind the keyboard. So.
Well, not today because we have a full house. But I get what you're saying. People love to snipe from the back seat. All right, so let's go to boxing style. That's the guy I want. Boxing style. What's your prediction? Oh, wait, sorry. You said the body. You have to see the.
I have to check the physiques. I'm being not dead honest. I gotta look at it, just like how Jim said. But Jim has already made his decision.
Right.
I'm gonna check it out, and then I'll just text you what I think.
Oh, I know you'll check it out.
I know. I know it could go. This is a given for me. I think I know 12 rounds. Triple G decision. But I'm looking at whether there's a possibility. There's a not Triple G decision. It could go 12 rounds. There's always that possibility. But I'm looking at the possibility that whether he can knock him out, he can finish him because Canelo's looking smaller, more frail. That's a possibility. But the physique, I have to still look at it.
Well, listen, we got a special guest. We got X on the line. X, are you there?
I'm here, BDA. I'm
funny,
here.
And funny
like it is.
Recognize jumped off as soon as he came.
What's up, X?
Yeah, fuck Recognize. All right, I took him off. That's how I do. I don't want to hear that motherfucker's voice.
What's going on, X man? Long time no see, my bro.
My brother Cameron was popping. You know what I'm saying? Fuck all of you. Fuck everybody else except Bucho and BDA.
That's right. Yeah, we're good friends with X. Now, X, we got Triple G Canelo. No Charlo, no Jacobs, no Earl
They're scared
Spence.
of my brothers. They're scared of my brother Charlos. I don't know about Jacobs, but they're definitely scared of my brothers Charlos.
But are you gonna watch the fight then or not?
You know something? I don't really feel like watching two white devils fight, but you know what? I figure I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna watch that fight. I'm gonna surprise you, motherfuckers.
Should we get X's prediction?
Oh yeah, that's why I called in. And I'm gonna break down my sophisticated prediction, and I want you to give me some time, okay?
Go ahead.
Don't interrupt me.
No.
Open up a dictionary, bro. Get ready.
Shut up, boxing style, you Armenian. You're nothing but an Armenian coon. You keep going at my brother Cameron. I'm gonna get at you. That's what's gonna happen.
Didn't you call a boxing style a genocide survivor or something like that?
He's a genocide survivor because he sold out his people.
He sold out his
I
people.
didn't sold that shit, bro. What the fuck you talking about?
Yeah.
I killed my way out of that fucking zone, bro.
Boxing He's such a sellout. He watches the fucking Young Turks.
Boxing styles, you killed everyone with your bad jokes. That's how you got out.
He's the Young Turks.
X is just happy because Spence got the VADA tested now.
You guys are just lucky I didn't have my cereal.
Dude, I heard you and Recognize talking shit about my brother Earl Spence. Right?
You guys aren't related, bro.
And Terrence Crawford. Okay, let me explain something. Before I give my prediction, I just want to say one thing. I know what you was trying to do, L dude, and I know what that motherfucker Recognize was trying to do. And I don't appreciate Low Place, who's really fucking Puerto Rican, okay? He's trying to turn Terrence Crawford. He's trying to turn Terrence Crawford.
He's Panamanian, brother. He's Panamanian.
And yeah, Panamanian too. They're devils too, okay? They're trying to turn my boy, good old buddy boy, Terrence Crawford. Okay?
Fuck that Asian matrix.
TC and Spence against each other, okay? To perpetuate black on black crime, okay? That's what they were trying to do, all right? And I don't appreciate that shit.
All right.
TC, man.
TC,
good old buddy boy. Best in the world.
THC.
That's right. TC.
All right.
Spence,
So X.
either number 1 or 2. But you want my prediction, I know.
Yes, please go ahead.
Wilder number 3.
I think he's number 1, but let's not go there. Anyway, this is
You know what TC stands for? Tiny cock, bro.
Hold on. Let's say I want to hear X's prediction, man.
You know something? You know something? My acid reflux is going up right now. I don't appreciate that boxing style. I'm gonna go over there and I'm gonna whip your ass all over the place. Okay? Don't you ever talk about TC like that again. Okay, let me give you my prediction.
Please.
All right. First of all, I don't like either one of those white devils. Okay?
All right.
Neither one. All right. I think Canelo's not even. I don't even think he's Mexican. He's lying. Okay. That motherfucker's a white devil. I can see a white devil, and he's a white devil. Okay, that's one. Triple G, he's another white devil, but I hate him less, and I'm gonna tell you why I hate him less. Okay. First of all, he's a little darker. He's a little darker than this fucking redhead cracker. Okay, he's a little bit darker, so I'm off of that alone. I'm going with Triple G. Okay, I'm just that alone. I'm going with Triple G. All right? First of all, I think he's more Mexican than he is, so I'll say that. All right, but I don't like either one of those guys, so I'm going with Gennady. Man, I hope my brothers forgive me out there, man. Forgive me, my brothers. All right.
All right, X.
I'm going with Gennady Golovkin to knock this white devil out.
All right,
like
so
I'm hoping he does, and that way him and De La Hoya could go away.
There you have it. X makes his prediction, which we're all waiting for. We could actually end the show now, though. Now that he's giving his prediction.
Wait a minute, I got something to say to X.
No,
Your Charlo brothers. Your shit technology. I got something to say, bro. The Charlo brothers. The Charlo brothers bleached their hair, bro. They're ginger too.
Oh,
so what's up?
Yeah, cool story. Cool story.
Listen, let me
every time someone.
Before I leave, before I leave, I just got one thing to say. I keep hearing myself echo. Tell somebody to fucking mute that.
That's boxing style. Keep interrupting.
Get it out of somebody's ass, bro.
All right, listen. We gotta make this quick.
I keep hearing myself echo. Tell somebody to
That's boxing style. Keep interrupting.
All right, Stu. I'm hearing some.
Stu,
Yes,
you need
Stu,
to mute your
what-
mic, man.
All right,
You're
I'll just say
interrupting.
one more thing.
Oh, hold on.
Hold on,
What
Stu.
the fuck?
Stu, you gotta mute your mic, man.
Yo, Stu, what the hell is Stu doing?
I don't
Stu's
know.
not on mute.
Taking the piss.
I don't think he realizes he's. Oh, there he goes. All right. So X, make it quick, because people in
All
the
right,
chat room are hating and
apologize.
saying,
I apologize, BDA. I apologize. All I gotta
"Don't worry
say
about
is
it."
they don't want no part of my brother Charlos. They don't want no part of the Charlos. Okay, that's all I gotta say. All right. I don't like either one of these motherfuckers, but if I have to pick, I'm going with the darker white boy, and that's Triple G. Okay, that's all I gotta say. Peace out.
All right, I'm not surprised.
All right. Great prediction.
I got Canelo TKO in the 11th.
Thank
Well,
God
hold on a
that's
second.
over.
Hold on a second. And by the way, apology. Why don't you like X?
He does not boxing.
What's to like about him? What is there to like about him?
He's
I don't like 'cause he's so
opinionated.
disrespectful.
And he's opinionated, and he's a strong. He's opinionated and a strong black man.
Man. You got some disrespect.
I wait before I interrupt, bro.
All right, guys, we have to. All right,
Time
all right.
period.
Let's forget
Right.
about low place. Low place.
Low
What's
place.
his
You're
name?
obsessed with low place.
Boxing
All right,
style.
let's get El
And
Dude.
X.
Let's get El Dude's prediction. El Dude, you were gonna give
Exactly.
your
Let's
prediction.
go. El Dude, you have the floor.
11th round TKO. Canelo wins this fight.
Oh, come on. Are you
Dude,
serious?
you're like XL dude. You won't go against the Mexican.
All right.
Nah,
So
it's just that I see GGG past his prime, to be honest with you, in this fight.
but we were talking about that in the beginning of the show. We were like, all right, can this guy hurt that guy? And we were like, oh, I don't know. It's hard. And all of a sudden, so you're jumping on the gun and you're saying Canelo 11th round TKO.
Yeah, I believe that what Canelo's going to do, he's going to try to get this knockout early. He's going to punch himself out. He's going to run around in circles, trying to be elusive, recuperate his stamina, and then go for the knockout again. And I think that Gennady Golovkin is going to have trouble catching Canelo, and he's going to open him up for some devastating shots that we haven't seen GGG take.
Well, you never know. You never fucking know.
El Dude, you gotta love El Dude, man. I mean, he's a very patriotic. He's a patriotic guy, man. This guy he's never gonna go Canelo Alvarez. This guy would pick Brandon Rios to beat Errol Spence. I can assure you.
El Dude's gonna wrap around. El Dude's gonna wrap around himself around the Mexican flag and jump off a fucking building, man.
I did that. I survived.
Hey, we gotta respect his decision, man. Can't be.
You know what?
If only liberals have this pride as well.
Well, you know what?
Brandon
This is
Rios.
boxing.
All right,
This is
hold on,
boxing.
guys. BDA, go ahead. Next.
Yeah, this is boxing, and you never know what can happen. Remember, Roy Jones got knocked out when nobody thought he would ever get knocked out. Manny Pacquiao got knocked out. Was that?
Dude, he's not finished.
Dude, hold on. Let BDA talk, man.
He's
All right,
another
this-
interrupter.
Oh yeah, Cameron is getting very upset by the interruptions. I'm trying to keep it zen here. So all I'm saying is it wouldn't surprise me if anybody can get knocked out in boxing. Anybody can get knocked out. So 11 round TKO. Hey, you never know. All right, dude. What did you want to say? now
Well, the guy is. I mean, he's not at his house. I don't know where he is.
No, he was on the bus
connection's
earlier. He
not
was on
great,
the bus.
I guess.
All right, now let's go to another prediction then, because otherwise we're gonna be here all night.
Did you guys hear about Rios?
No, forget Rios. Forget Rios. Forget Rios. All right,
man.
Forget Rios. All right, let's go
Hold
to
on.
Cameron. Let's go to Cameron. Let's get Cameron's prediction. Cameron. Ah, geez, Luis. All right, let's just do Cameron.
Cameron already picked. He already.
No, he.
I haven't picked it all, man.
No, he hasn't
Canelo by
picked.
decision.
Your boxing style. Hold on. Let's.
Boxing style. Stop interrupting.
Listen here, you fucking.
Like you said earlier.
Stop. Hey, hello.
I'm gonna give you a nice whooping if you don't quit
Both
talking.
of you, get your own hangout and talk about it. Let whoever's next go.
Yeah, me.
Yeah, go ahead.
That's what this hangout is turning into. Pure fucking diarrhea. All right.
For the love of God, let me do my prediction boxing style without interrupting.
All right, Cameron, go ahead.
Go.
Prediction.
I got Canelo on points. That's it.
There you
that's
go, bro. I said it. And he said it right there.
Well
Magic.
done, boxing style. You went 2 seconds without interrupting. Next.
Oh.
I've been past fucking two.
Reverse psychology
I have a
there.
marathon going on over here.
Listen,
All right.
guys, can get your own hangout.
boxing style it would interrupt the priest at a funeral. He would.
Oh yeah.
Hey, by the way, I gotta ask.
That's how I resurrect people, bro.
I gotta ask. What's
maybe kill them with your bad jokes.
all right? So listen, guys. So far we have recognized said Triple G by decision plus a knockdown thrown in for good measure. Abstract said Triple G stops Canelo. He's not sure which round yet. Apology said Triple G by 10th round TKO. Jimmy said Triple G by stoppage in the middle of the fight, 6th or 7th round. X said Triple G knocks the White Devil out, the Whiter Devil. El Dude said Canelo by 11th round TKO. And then Cameron now just said Canelo on points. All right, so who's next? Let's get Pavel. Pavel hasn't spoken in a while. Pavel, are you there?
Yeah. Look, Canelo's gonna lose the fight on points.
Canelo.
He said Cognello. Cognello.
Yeah.
So Canelo by decision.
No, he's gonna lose by decision.
Oh, Canelo. Okay, so Triple G by decision. Now, does Canelo strike you as the type of guy who is willing to sacrifice everything in order to stand by his principles? Like, what's his name? The football player we were talking about, Kaepernick.
Not sure what ideals you mean, but if he's gonna sacrifice most of the things, most of the ideals in order to win, yeah, I can see that definitely.
Well, but what I meant by that was sacrificing a couple of steroids in order to really try to go in there and win the fight clean. Now listen, I'm trying to move on from this fucking lame joke that I made. Who else are we missing here? Stu, you haven't made your prediction yet. How about you?
Yeah, I'm going to go for a Golovkin points decision. Not 100% confident that Golovkin's going to win this fight. I'm picking him to win it though, but Canelo, this is a tough fight. This is a young kid that's getting better and better, and I think Golovkin's on the slide, on the way down, sort of thing. It's a tough one for me. I just think Golovkin is going to come. I think that hurt him. That draw hurt him, and I think it's brought that beast back out of him. And I think the way Golovkin fights, he has to have that inner beast in him. He can't be strolling around in third gear, like he has done recently. He has to be on his game, and I think he can be. But it's just a tough one to call all year. All year I've been saying fucking Golovkin, so I'm going to stick with it. Golovkin.
But now,
Stu, what do you? I got a question for Stu. Stu, you talk about Golovkin being a third gear racer. What do you think caused that?
Fighting bums.
Fighting bums.
Well, no, I'm not saying bums because that's harsh. He's fought some good guys, but I think he got into a stage where he was fighting guys that he was just much better than, and he wasn't really have to be at his best. He didn't have to do 100%, training camps for 12 weeks. He was cutting corners, and you just get stuck in third gear where you're beating everyone, so you think you're untouchable, and then you come across a young lion that gives you all the problems he can give you, and it wakes you up, sort of thing, and it might bring. Do you understand what I'm trying to say?
Now listen, I gotta ask something, because you said that if he has to come, he's gonna come in with a mean streak. Guys, if he comes in with a mean streak, doesn't he leave himself open for Canelo's counters? Because let's not make it out to be like Canelo doesn't punch hard. I mean, the guy can crack.
Yeah, but Canelo can't. I don't think Canelo can hurt GGG enough to knock him out.
Fight though, it's cool because Golovkin has to be prepared to get hit because he's going to get tagged up all night. That's for sure. Canelo's going to tag this guy up, so you can put your money on that. It's just he's going to have to take shots to get his own off, and that's what Golovkin does. Let's be real. That's what Golovkin usually does: take shots to get his own off, and he's going to have to do it with Canelo as well. He can't be fighting. Not scared, but where he's a bit hesitant of getting hit with counter shots by Canelo, and he's not doing his usual work where he's fighting a different game, and I don't think Golovkin's the sort of guy that can sit on the back foot and pop the jab out. Do you? He's a come forward fighter that uses his strength and his power, his punching power, to walk through fighters, and that's what he has to do. He has to take shots to get his own off.
Apology. What do you think about that?
I don't know about you guys,
do that?
But I got AJ.
Oh, AJ. All right. Listen, hold on. Apology. What do you think?
All right. Apology. Go ahead.
Apology.
Apology gave his I think he gave his prediction.
Yeah.
No, but I just want to ask him, do you think Triple G can walk through Canelo's? I mean, if he takes risks, he's going to get hit. Can he sustain that pace while still getting hit by Canelo's heavy hands?
Well, I'll ask you a question. What top name is Canelo knocked out? None, right?
Amir Khan.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Good one, Cameron.
He
Anyway,
hit Golovkin with more or less the same shot, and Golovkin just walked right through
yeah.
it.
I think
Canelo turned the whole Golovkin's pace a little bit, but it won't be enough. We'll get broken down eventually.
James Kirkland.
Yeah, I mean, James Kirkland got knocked out by Ashita, who fucking Triple G put to sleep.
All right, now
that was a sick shot though. That Canelo took Kirkland out. That was a beautiful.
I gotta say something, BDA. To Stu's point, look, there's a whole lot being made of Golovkin's resume, and I just got to point out one thing about Golovkin's resume. Martin Murray, who's past his prime, past his better days, nobody knocks him out. Nobody stops him. Okay, Golovkin pretty much had him in his best day. Okay, not that Martin Murray was a fucking elite world beater, but he was a top, in the top 10, top 5 at one point, middleweight. And Golovkin destroyed him. He destroyed him. Now, again, I get it that Golovkin is getting older, and that's what makes this fight intriguing to me, even though I still think that he still has enough to beat him, and I don't think a year is that much of a difference. What I saw was Canelo's best, and Canelo's best, in my opinion, lost. He lost that fight significantly. He didn't lose by a little bit. I thought he lost. He was the clear loser of the fight. It was a competitive fight, but he definitely lost. There was no doubt in my mind who won that fight. But the one thing I will say, that Canelo does have going for him, and this depends on how he comes in the ring. I don't know. With the whole steroid thing, we never know what's going to happen. Well, the plan B or whatever we think he was taking. The one thing I will say is that Canelo has going on his side is that I do see him getting better, and he is young, and he's gamed. At least he was game in the first fight. So that tells me that a year later, I know there's some controversy behind that. I know there's some shade in it. There's some dark clouds that are on top of him. With the PED stuff. But I think that a year later he should be better. So it makes the fight that much intriguing. But I still say that Canelo. I think Golovkin can take his shots, keep coming in, and win that way, like he did the first time.
That's a good point. That's a very good point. And just before, I'm going to let Jimmy say something because he wanted to say something of what you said. But you're right. I mean, people underestimate Martin Murray. A lot of people some people from other YouTube channels, they make Murray out to be this bum. But man, Triple G laid a beating on him. So that's an underrated win right there. The way he really... And that was the first guy that went 11 rounds, I think, with Triple G, that made it past the 10th. All right, Jimmy, you wanted to add... What?
I remember Martin Murray went to Germany and he got robbed against Serb, didn't he?
Yeah, that's true. That's another good point.
And
now,
I
Jimmy,
he beat Sergio. But
yeah,
that too.
I was just saying, he got robbed against Sergio Martinez. He's gone 12 rounds with some good guys, and Golovkin just put the beating on him, the beating of his life.
The thing is, Golovkin's resume is not as bad as people make out. Generally, like a lot of the guys he beat, Monroe, Lemieux, even Proxer, these guys were all top 10 heavyweights. So Daniel Gill, Curtis Stevens, these were all top 10 heavyweights, middleweights at the time he beat them.
And something abstract, really quick. I'm sorry for interjecting, but Golovkin is, and a lot of those names we just mentioned, like with Willie Monroe, Martin Murray, and maybe I'm missing someone else. Golovkin's the only guy that's ever stopped them. That's it. To this point, Willie Monroe is not as good as he used to be. Martin Murray is not as good as he used to be. And they still haven't been stopped and they fought some pretty decent level opposition. They clearly lost, but they were never destroyed the way Golovkin beat. So that's why I say the resume thing. If you want to nitpick a little bit, I guess, but I look at content. At the time he fought them, those were good fighters, and he destroyed them.
People forget that Martin Murray went 12 rounds with Grove.
I just want to call what Abstract said.
Hold on. Cameron, go ahead.
I just want to follow up what Abstract said about how Golovkin's resume isn't as bad as people make out. Another thing to add, I think Abstract, did you mention Curtis Stevens?
Yeah.
Curtis Stevens actually got better. I can't remember who it was, but he knocked out that undefeated guy, didn't he? That they put him in there and he knocked him out clean. Curtis Stevens actually had some good wins since that Golovkin loss. So.
But he had also a bunch of losses. He lost against Ndam, right?
Yeah, of course he did. But Stevens is. I've always liked Stevens, to be honest.
I mean, when you look at Golovkin's resume, it's not too bad when you think Canelo's on it, Danny Jacobs, you've got Lemieux, Martin Murray, you've got Kell Brook. It was all right. I know he's a welterweight. He was a welterweight champion of the world at the time.
Daniel Gill.
Daniel Gill. I've not really been a Daniel Gill fan to him. I mean, he lost to Darren.
I didn't think he lost. I thought he was robbed, Stu. I thought he was robbed that fight.
Hold on, guys. Jimmy wants to say something. Go ahead, Jimmy.
No, I don't mean to cut anybody off. I keep waiting for a delay, and I think I'm stepping on people. I don't want to do that. But now let me ask you guys, seriously though, right? Think about this, your mindset. Would it be any different if that last fight, and we can all agree, Triple G won that fight. I had him winning 8-4. Could have been, easily. But would everybody's mindset still be the same if it was scored correctly? See how, to me, it makes such. I see it's kind of a different, but because it's a draw, it's a rematch. But if that was scored, his hand was raised, Triple G won. So going into this fight, right? If it was Triple G, so see how just the fucking wrong scoring. Because I tell you, I bet my life everybody here would be a little more enthusiastic on Triple G if he was scored correctly. If his hand was raised, he'd be coming in as the victor.
That's a very good point.
That's a fucking great point because that's how I look at it. That's exactly what Jimmy just said. I don't
exactly. It's a mindset. It's in our mind because he won that last fight too. We're like, take that into consideration. Yeah.
When you fight, you judge the fight. You don't judge what the judges thought. You go by what you watched and what you saw. What I saw was Golovkin beat a very gamed, young, strong Canelo Alvarez. That's what I saw. That's what I saw with my own eyes. I thought he won. So I look at it. I look at that as an accomplishment. He beat.
And I look at the eyes of a fighter. That to me is everything. It's all about the eyes, Chico. And you can see it. There was a few times, especially one. I think it was the end of the 6th round when he sat in a corner. And you all right? That's the first thing he's trying to ask him. You see in his eyes too. He almost had a defeated look. I'm telling you, he caught a couple of shots, and I know it stung him because he had a look. I never seen it. You know when somebody's being affected by something, if they fight different. Canelo never fought the way he fought against Triple G. He never put his ass against the ropes all the time. Never was on the back foot. He fought. So the fact that you will actually, it's the battle of wills right off the rip. Triple G saying, "I got you, kid." Boom, boom, hitting him with that jab. I got you going backward right away. Triple G fights, and then you take that into consideration with the fact he won the fight. So yes, age is inevitable. It's going to fucking creep up and slip on him, like it does everybody. But I look at it, Mount Erosion too. I mean, I looked at an angry kid who went in. He looked like he was accurate. He looked like he was throwing. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I personally think he's going to go in there really angry, and if what's his name's off the fucking juice, it's going to be psychological, and that's why I'm driving my thing. But I could be wrong, and I'll take my punishment.
Yeah, BDA is a fun fact. You said earlier on that this is the first time both fighters have had a rematch. Canelo actually fought Miguel Vasquez twice earlier on in his career.
I was gonna say BDA went to the bathroom. So.
All right, but there you go.
Oh,
somewhere.
He went. He had a great 2 fights with the great Velasquez, right?
Vasquez, yeah. Well, the first one was. A lot of people say Vasquez won the first fight. So
Vasquez was a legend.
Yeah, man.
A lot of people thought Canelo lost against Lara.
He's a legend.
and then how many people thought? I personally thought he beat him. I thought Canelo won, but a lot of people Well, of course, that falls along racial lines. But a lot of people thought Lara won.
I don't think so, Jim. I think Lara won that fight.
Laura's a
Lara beat him by 1 round.
I thought Canelo beat Lara.
I did too. I thought Canelo.
I think we all did.
No, I thought Trout beat Canelo.
Trout, I thought Trout was closer. I thought Trout was closer than Lara. I thought Trout gave Canelo a hell of a fight. I think
The only people that beat Canelo was Floyd Mayweather and Golovkin. That's it.
Can I just say
I
something?
still think Canelo won. I still think Canelo beat both Trout and Lara. Don't get me wrong. But
can I just say something? Going back to what Jimmy said. Going back to what Jimmy said about our perception is somewhat distorted because of the result. The hell was that? I heard something outside. Anyways, so but also a lot of people are also giving Canelo more of a chance this time around because Golovkin didn't look as impressive. Let's just be honest. I mean, Canelo was on the ropes and Golovkin was right there. That's where everybody was saying, "Oh, if Canelo stays on the ropes, it's a big no-no because he's gonna get knocked out, he's gonna get hurt," and nothing happened, man. And so now we're saying, well, if Golovkin comes in angrier, like he might win the fight more decisively. But I don't see how just being more angry or more aggressive is gonna actually.
Because Bucho, if he comes out angry and he takes his shots.
Well, he's going to be more open as well.
And then he opens them up to the process. We saw Canelo's stamina going down mid-fight.
No, exactly. But I think it can go both ways. I mean, obviously, if Golovkin is more aggressive, yes, then that may be a positive thing. But also, it might be a negative thing because he's going to be open.
Yes, exactly. The worst person. Sorry, I was going to say.
No, sorry, Jimmy.
I'm sorry, Cameron. I keep stepping on you, bro.
No, go on, man.
I was going to say, my grandfather, man, that was his philosophy, what you're saying right there, Bucho. He would tell kids, like, listen, don't come here. This isn't a fist fight, dude. You want to go in a fist fight, go in the parking lot. This is a fucking sporting event. Like, he hated that shit, like the people have to get mad or, try to get that. It's not the right mindset. But what I mean by aggressive or more angry is I think he thought he was winning a fight clearer than I thought he won. But I think this time he knows. Like, I think it almost shocked him. I don't really think he thought he was going to be robbed, to be honest with you. I really don't think he thought he would be. And when he was, I think that really set a mindset. And I think that's why he went after Erosion like that. He's like a little pissed. In all his interviews since, he's a little more reds. And what I mean by, so that kind of aggression, it's not like, oh, fucking pissed. Although when you do go after somebody, obviously, when you're going for home runs, right, you take the home run swing, you're in the worst position. So, but I think he also knows now. I think in his mindset, I have to stop this motherfucker. Where last time, I don't think he did think that. So I think that is what I mean by extra aggression.
Right, I agree. And the thing is, look at Triple G. Look at how much amateur experience he had. How many fights he's had. The idea that he's going to just be sort of like recklessly aggressive, for me is a bit silly. I think he will be more aggressive. I think it will be controlled aggression, and I think the fact that he's taken Canelo's power, and Canelo's inevitably going to be at least a bit smaller. I think will make that, combined with the fact that he got robbed the last time, will make him sort of like more aggressive, but in a controlled way. That's why I've picked the way I have. Like,
didn't he do that? Didn't he do it the first time though? Didn't he do that the first? Wasn't it controlled aggression the first time around though?
I think he
did.
Then
what was it then? That's
no.
It's more like jab.
Wait. I think Bucho's real quick. I think Bucho's right. As that fight started to go on, he did use control aggression like he always does. The problem, what Golovkin did that I think a lot of people misunderstood was that what he decided to do was to pay less attention to defense in order to hit Canelo because Canelo is fast. Okay, so he said, all right, he felt them out. And he felt them out, and he said, I could take his punches. And that's what he did. So he did get hit with more shots than we used to seeing Golovkin get hit with, right? But that was because he made an assessment. This is a consummate pro. Something that Abstract said. The guy he has a ton of amateur success, so many fights that the idea that he's going to get reckless in order to score a knockout I highly doubt that. I really doubt that he would do that. The only thing that I would worry about, is that you never know when punching resistance betrays you one day. You know what I'm saying? What you can usually take one day, it just backfires on you, and it's just like, no, you can't take those anymore. Or tonight, you just can't take it. You know what I'm saying?
To
Tonight,
me, that matrix. To me, controlled aggression is what Porter does. Porter does it perfect. And you know what you guys saw with Danny last time? You know, he could have done that to the other fight. He could have done that to Thurman too. He had that ability, but that's his style.
But Thurman's used a lot of movement, and he's fast, so he had to use that fast pace.
He also beat his ass too. But that's another thing.
No, he did beat his ass.
You know what the best line of that fight all night was at the end of the fight when Dum Dum Danny says, "I'd like to thank all my fans from around the world."
Yeah, around the world.
What the fuck you talking about, dude?
Who said that?
Danny Garcia. I want to thank all my fans from around the world.
No, what he means to say is, I want to thank my fans from Philly, a few from New York.
That's right.
A few from Puerto Rico, maybe. And
I don't think there's anybody from Puerto Rico.
I don't even think they like us. But let's just say,
Cameron, you want to say something? I think Cameron wanted to say something.
Yeah, no, I'm just gonna say I've got to shoot. I've got to go and do some things for it. I was just gonna say I think I've seen Apology trying to get in for the last half hour, man. So I think he wants to say something. I've just seen him kind of getting spoke over a few times. So.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll see you, man.
You have a good night, buddy.
Hurry up and take your shit, bro.
I appreciate it. Take it easy, man.
See you, Cameron. Thanks for being on.
Apology. You want to say something or?
No, right now. Go ahead, recognize.
Oh no, I think that was pretty much done. I'll just say, look, man. I'll just say that as the fight, I think we talked about this. As the fight is getting closer, now I'm starting to anticipate the fight. Again, I'm not a fool. Like, I'm not this blind boxing fan that thinks that my way is the only way it's going to happen. I know that anything can happen in boxing, and I know that there's corruption that you have to deal with and all that, and you never know how it's going to work out. So those are the things that intrigue me the most about this fight. I don't like for corruption to happen, but, you know, at the same time, as a boxing fan, I can't miss it. I got to see if, you know, it's a great fight, because I thought the first fight was really good. How it ends and who ends up, you know, the winner. And I'm as we're in the week of the fight, I'm getting a little bit more anxious for the fight to happen. Now I can't wait for it to happen.
Imagine there's an accidental headbutt and it stopped in the fourth round.
Why do you have to do that, Bucho? Why do you have to jinx it, man?
Bucho could be right, but he could be like, it could be one of those. That's the thing about these fights, is like, you never know what's going to happen. It could be an accidental headbutt. They go to the scorecard and they give it to. You never know. They give it to Canelo.
What about a cut, like a deep cut? Somebody's really fucked up, like
you two motherfuckers.
What's their history? I'm not too sure. I don't think either one of them have history of deep cuts, because you usually get the scar tissue, and that's, you know, where it's about opening back up.
Yeah, you're right.
I don't. And I think, isn't Canelo? He has that dude, that world famous Mexican cut man, doesn't he? In his corner.
But the old dude, he's dead.
That's right. Yeah. That's fucking Jesus. Yeah, that's right. That dude was a magician, man. Those fucking cut guys, man. They can stop bullet wounds from bleeding.
No, I don't think Canelo will bleed. I think he might get smoked up, but I don't think because he's got like that tough skin. There's
thick skin, like
that's the best way that he's just got.
Nobody makes Canelo bleed his own blood. Nobody.
Yeah, and it's strange because he's Irish. Normally, Irish people are cutting up all over the place. No, it's true. I mean, come on. Like, it's I don't know why it's
that kid must have got crucified.
Who?
Oh, I was saying that poor kid must have got crucified when he was a kid, huh? It's probably why he's so tough.
He's Miklo, man. You know,
he's Miklo. Yeah.
He's Miklo.
They either picked on him, or he was like like an oddity, like it was somebody. You know what I mean?
They picked on him. He keeps saying that he was bullied when he was a kid. So.
I don't know, man.
In the Spanish community, the white boy the whiter looking guy, right, always had it tough. He always had to prove that he was quote unquote not soft, you know, that kind of shit.
Oh, look at recognize is he's giving to. What about that white privilege? Well, hold on. What about that white privilege? You think? Oh, he had it tough, this and that. He had the white privilege. Come on, man. His life was a breeze.
Well, I mean, let's say if white privilege really does exist, he was in Mexico. It doesn't apply for him.
Yeah, it doesn't apply. It's more like brown privilege over there.
Yeah, over there is brown privilege, you know.
And by the way, Bucho, you said what happens if there's a cut and it turns into a no contest, this and that. Let me tell you something. If that happens,
seriously, man, you and me, we're fucking done professionally.
As I don't want to fucking. If you jinx this fight with your Mexican magic,
I didn't jinx it, man. Come on.
All right, Mexican magic.
Dies through the ropes, Hopkins style.
Imagine if that happens, yeah.
imagine like fucking Canelo getting knocked. Oh man.
Or like Maskev style.
What do you think?
Imagine
Go
Austin.
ahead, Apology.
Imagine Austin De La Hoya comes in a parachute wearing his
parachute and fishnets,
and he drops in the ring.
Yeah, and parachute and fishnets, man.
I want to see how much coke Oscar is going to take during the fight. That's what I want to see.
Listen, here's a way like to end like Canelo's career could end that night if he gets like fucked up really bad, like like he gets blown out. One of those knockouts that it looked like he never had a chance. I can see that destroying Canelo's career. So I don't think he'll let that happen. I don't think he'll let that happen. He might lose the fight, but I don't think he's gonna let that like get blown the fuck out. Like he
get
Jimmy. Knocked out.
No, I was gonna tell you guys. Because my cousin's husband, right, he works for here in Boston for the Homeland Security, and he was saying that when Triple G fights, they're actually on high alert wherever he's fighting. You have actually more officers there because of, I guess there's a lot of, I didn't even know this, but there's a lot of Muslims in Kazakhstan.
Oh, yeah.
And there was rumors, and who's somebody fucking chopping up a car or something?
Oh shit, sorry, it was me, man. I'm gonna go.
But yeah, no, because that's what he was saying.
Interesting.
That was pretty fascinating.
Who chose the butcher of Baghdad?
No, he was eating his lace. He was eating his lace.
No, I'm not familiar with that part of the world. Is there a lot? Is there a high Muslim?
Yeah, there's a lot of Muslims. I think the majority is Muslim, I think.
And not only that, you got nearby.
That's why the genocide happened, buddy.
You got nearby countries, which been was part of the old Soviet Union. That there's a big Muslim population. So yeah,
I know there was
Pacquiao for being a Christian had to be careful in the Philippines with the Muslims.
You gotta give us Armenians some props for standing out all that Muslim shit, bro.
Well, X is saying that you're an Armenian coon. He keeps saying that you're.
Obviously. So.
Well, I know ISIS had over 1,000 Chechens, Kazakhstan, and all those mountainous areas over the Himalayas in Russia. Even the third in command, that redhead ISIS member, he was from the country right next to Kazakhstan. In fact, he was in the Russian military before he decided to start chopping journalists' heads off.
If you look at what ISIS really stands for, you just look at the initials, you'll know who created them.
Obama.
No. Well, just look at
by the way,
think about it.
There's 3 riddles here.
Yeah,
he would always.
This is YouTube, so I'll just say study the initials.
And he would always be smug about it. He would always say it like, the terrorist would. He would never say ICE. He'll say ISIL or, because it was Levant, which was Syria area. It was called Levant. And so that's why it was ISIS of Iraq and Levant. And he always would say ISIL. It's like, all right, dude, man. Probably got fucking.
But if you really look at those initials, man, it'll lead you, and you'll see who they never attacked. You'll know who created them.
I remember a couple of.
I'm serious. I have no idea.
I just remember a couple.
Oh yeah.
ISIS.
I know it's us. We created them. Trust me.
They used to
Oh,
be
the Armenians.
SOI, Sons of Iraq. Became something.
Sons of Iraq.
Yeah, shit you not. That shit existed. I'm not
Well,
joking around. The Sons of
they're
Iraq.
an offshoot of Al Qaeda. They're an offshoot of Al Qaeda. When Al-Zawahiri was killed with a drone strike, the second in command was Abu Dhabi, and he's the one. He was so vicious. The home office of Al Qaeda back at Baghdad said, "If you don't stop like slaughtering fellow Muslims, because they attacked anybody who wasn't Sunni." But anyways, that's the reason how they.
Hey, Boxing Style, didn't you fight these guys? Didn't you fight these guys in Iraq? Boxing Style.
We didn't. I didn't kill anybody. I just arrested them. We were shooting at our fucking fob and shit, and we go over there and find out exactly where they're at, bust some heads open, take them in, interrogate them. But the fucked up funny thing about it is, they would send these guys back to the fucking Iraqi police, and who knows what happened after that. They got released back out in the wild. You never know.
They get recycled.
What happened after that?
They get recycled. That's why.
Pretty much.
We used to have that. Butcher, remember we used to have that in Vietnam? Like we would...
oh, yeah, man.
Yeah, I mean, it was...
Stop with this bullshit.
What? I mean, we used to be in Vietnam. We used to be in Vietnam. I'm having flashbacks.
It's gonna be alright, Nick.
You got the 1,000 yard. BDA's got the 1,000 yard stare.
That's right. And I was having flashbacks right there. I'm having flashbacks, man. Sorry about that. And yes, I used to have the 1,000 yard stare. Not any... Ah, jeez. All right, listen.
Don't light firecrackers off near him.
Yeah, I mean, jeez.
Did you go full retard?
I went full side. I mean, what was the name of the village that we offed, Bucho? The famous one, but we didn't get caught.
Oh.
Not Saigon. No, that was a city. Well, you know the one I'm talking about, the big one.
Yeah, Landay.
Landay, ish. That was quite a day, man. But listen, Bucho. All right, now listen. Let's stop being silly for a minute.
Googling the shit.
Let's stop being silly for a moment. I want to get, because we didn't get Bucho's prediction, who keeps saying that this fight, the Triple G Canelo rematch, it's gonna be somebody's gonna get knocked out. So Bucho, go ahead. Oh, did he drop off? No, he's still there.
No, I'm here. What's up?
Go ahead. Well, give us your prediction, man.
Oh, Canelo by unanimous decision. No, majority decision. There's gonna be a draw in there, but I think Canelo's gonna win this fight.
Canelo majority decision.
Look, if I was Mexican, I would Canelo.
What was that prediction?
I said Canelo by decision.
You Bucho? Cucho?
Yeah.
You're saying Canelo by decision. Oh, okay.
Now,
that's respectable.
BDA's prediction, I'll tell you right now. I think Canelo's mother, you saw how worked up she was in the first fight. I think she's going to go ahead and consult a bruja. And some Santeria is going to go on. Maybe some Santa Muerte. And she's going to use some magic.
Ooh.
Some satanic black magic to try to put a hex on Golovkin. That's what I think is going to happen.
Isn't that the saint of the drug dealer?
That's right.
Cartels?
That's right. Maybe, De La Hoya, through his connections, gets a fucking witch to hex Triple G.
I don't know, but Canelo's mother is just so weird, bro. Like, after that, like, when I saw her doing that cross shit and all that stuff, I'm like, you know what your son is getting into.
Well, that's the thing. Somebody, I can't find the comment. I was looking for it while you guys were talking. Somebody made a comment in one of the videos and said, "Oh, I hope we get to see Canelo's mother fucking drunk again, like the last time." I'm thinking she wasn't. Why are they assuming that she was drunk? But she was screaming at the camera. Did you guys see that Artorias video? Shout out to Artorias, and he was talking about the what's his name, Canelo's mother, and she's screaming at the camera like, Triple G knows he lost. Triple G knows he lost. He got dropped. I'm thinking, geez, I mean, only a mother could have given Canelo that decision. Let's just put it there.
In Adelaide Bird.
Or Oscar.
Oh, yeah, in Adelaide Bird. Yeah. All right, no, so seriously, my prediction, I think Canelo, like Bucho said, I think Canelo might just make a slight adjustment. This time the fight is closer, and I think he gets a decision. So that's my prediction. Canelo by decision. I don't know if it's going to be...
respect for you, BDA.
Look, I no longer feel safe in this fucking panel.
That's so ridiculous, these people, man.
Yeah, I
I didn't make my prediction, but if I don't let you know, I'm going with Triple G with KO. If I don't let you know with the physique shit, I'm just gonna go with it. I'm not gonna say what round. It's kind of hard to tell that. Maybe it's probably not gonna be the earlier rounds. It's most likely it's gonna be past the 6 rounds. You know, I'm not gonna say what round. Past after the 6. You know. But
wait a minute. Okay, hold on.
I'm leaning towards that, but
I think I misheard you. I think I misheard you. Did you say Triple G then by KO or by decision? Because I didn't hear.
Triple G by KO. He's going to win by KO.
All right. So, guys, there you have. Let's just go back to the predictions. Recognize has Triple G by decision with a knockdown thrown in for good measure. Abstract has Triple G to stop Canelo. Apology has Triple G by 10th round TKO as well. Jimmy says Triple G by stoppage, 6th or 7th round. X says Triple G knocks the White Devil out. El Dude had Canelo 11th round. El Dude said Canelo 11th round TKO. Cameron had Canelo on points or has Canelo on points. Pavel has Triple G by unanimous decision. Stu has Triple G by decision. Bucho Canelo majority decision. And yours truly BDA has Canelo by decision. And of course Boxing Style says if he can't catch the physiques, then he's going by Triple G by KO. And overhand in the chat says shocker. BDA picked the Mexican. Well, listen, people in the video section. People in the video section. Right? Well, no, yeah, he's kidding. He's kidding. But okay, it's interesting because people in the video section, they're saying that I'm a Triple G nut hugger because I thought he won the fight. Meanwhile, there's other people that have accused me of just of going for Canelo because I'm Mexican. So you can't win on the internet. But you know what? I'm not here to win. I'm here to disturb.
Being a Triple G nut hugger.
What's that?
There's nothing wrong with it, BDA. Nothing wrong with being a Triple G nut hugger.
Well, there's always something wrong with being a nut hugger. You should know that.
That's why you gotta hug him.
Well, listen, when people make accusations like that, all right, anybody who ever comes at somebody sideways, ugly like that, on Twitter on that bullshit, it just fucking says so much more about them. Just that's the way I look at it. It's like, really, you sad fuck. That's really what you got. You're sitting there putting your time, your effort, and I watch the videos, dude, and I'm no idiot. You know what I mean? I know my boxing, kid. You know what you're doing, and you make precise videos. You can tell you're trying to just show it as it is, the strengths and weaknesses. So that really upsets me because I see the work you do, and I can tell you're not. And if you do think somebody's better, you say it. You don't even hide your feelings. So it's not like you're fucking being. I don't know. I don't mean to go on a rant like that. Just bothers me, dude.
Well, look, listen. Thanks for the kind words, but I'm honest about everything. I'm honest about my past. The work I used to do in the streets of Los Angeles, performing.
You sure you're not hiding anything?
No, man. I'm honest about the things I did in Vietnam. I'm honest that I'm disturbed and somewhat attracted to Errol Spence's tits. I mean, I'm honest about everything. Jimmy's right. I don't have
anything. You're doing this video where he was analyzing. Yeah, go ahead.
By the way, speaking of like steroids effect, is it me or is now the whole head getting bigger? Earl Spence's head looks huge, bro. Like, you gotta go look at him. His head looks pretty big now. I'm like, whoa.
Oh, man. He's like the counselor on South Park, okay?
I was checking him out at the press conference, at the post-fight conference with Sean Porter, and he got up there and he was dissing Terrence Crawford or whatever. I was looking at the size of his head. I'm like, damn, I can't stop noticing that his head looks bigger. For some reason.
The question is, what head are you looking at?
That's whoa! He's talking about Jesus.
Boxing style. That's the head you're always thinking about.
Exactly.
Circumcised. I'm circumcised. All right. You know what? We've talked a lot about the Triple G Golovkin fight. I mean, the Triple G Canelo fight. One thing we haven't gone on to. First of all, there's the undercard, some interesting fights there. But all right, I mentioned this last week, and I didn't get a good reception from you guys. Jose Ramirez versus Antonio Orozco this Friday on ESPN. Come on, guys, you gotta watch that fight. That's guaranteed action. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Apology.
That's what I think of the fight.
You don't even know who these guys are, do you? You don't even know who these guys are, do you?
No, that's the point.
Didn't Orozco look a little heavy? Was his last fight he missed weight? Or was the one before that?
I think, all I know is that against Honorio, he's done that in the past, and his last fight was against Honorio, who's always up to upsetting prospects and all that, and he looked a little shaky, but he's a strong dude, undefeated. He hits pretty hard, and Jose Ramirez doesn't know how to fight any other way either. So they're both undefeated, come forward, power punchers. I'm telling you, this fight, unless of course, listen guys, the last time that I thought a fight was surefire action was Berchelt versus Miura, and that turned out to be a disappointment. So, but this one has like a 90% chance of being action-packed. That's all I'm going to say about that.
Berchelt decided to box his head off. That's what it was.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we did.
Yes.
We don't think the guys will cancel each other out. It'll be a boring fight.
It's possible, Apology, but I mean, like I said, 90% chance, man. They both come forward. They both swing shots.
Now, is this the undercard?
No, that's a fight on ESPN the day before.
Oh, yeah. That's ESPN because Ramirez. That's Bobby's fighter. Yeah. Oh no, and he's fighting at home, right? Ramirez.
In Fresno, California. Is that his home? I don't know. But look, guys, I'm telling you.
I believe so.
If you're boxing fans, you gotta watch this fight. I'm telling you, undefeated power punchers. And if I'm wrong, you guys get to call me a retard. Well, actually, you get to do that every day. So, what's that?
People saying they're not going to watch it. You got to watch.
Well, Apology,
man. That kid fucking he puts in good fights, man. I like him. He comes to
fight. Talking about good fights and watching fights. The numbers for the Sean Porter against Danny Garcia, the viewership peaked at 690,000 viewers.
That's it. That's it.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's embarrassing, dude.
And that's the best. One of the best fights from the BBC, right? Everybody's like,
oh my God.
What did they do? What was it? What was the
690,000? That's fucking humiliating.
Yeah, that's bad. That's bad.
That's bad.
They're blaming it on HBO and UFC and football.
And my left stack. Fucking
So
I think the best program in the world.
Just blame it on Al Heyman. That's all you got to do for that.
No, it's the White Devils.
Well, who's to blame? No, to be honest, who's to blame for the
White Devil? The White
Devil. Seriously.
No, seriously, what's the blame is inactivity. Listen, you can't not fight. Fighting is a thing it's a passionate sport. It's all about arousing fucking passion. You want people to take time on their Saturday night. You better give them reason to do it. Remember when he fought on the undercard when he fought Batiste? Like everybody was up for fights like that because you just knew, But now, fuck him. Not only is he inactive, he hasn't fucking stopped anybody for how long? Besides when he takes on. And you can't get reputation of his taking cherry pick after another, inactivity, and all those things combined, and that's what you get. Bingo, 690. That's fucking humiliating.
Wait a minute, Jimmy. When did Porter fight Andre Berto?
He's fought once, and I know it was only once in over a year. He fought on Facebook.
That explains.
Wasn't it on Facebook?
I don't
know. That was his fight before that. Yeah.
No, his last fight before Garcia was Granados.
Granados?
Well, I know
Yeah. Porter's last fight before Garcia was.
Before that, it was. But the fight before that was on Facebook because he went over a year. He went like 14 months without fighting.
He fought, I want to say Berto, no? His last.
Yeah, it was Berto, bro. It was Berto.
No, I'm saying before Granados. Before Granados. There was a time
he
having a fight on. Was that on
somebody?
Facebook? Never mind.
If somebody now claims that Danny Garcia is a superstar in boxing, I'm gonna have to tell him to shut the fuck up because
Danny Garcia is selling weed now.
He never was a superstar. He never was.
I think all my friends.
Danny Garcia is a superstar to Philadelphia.
But it's funny though, they discredited Danny Garcia big time, man. It was a decent fight.
No,
you can't just
I thought so too.
Yeah.
Doesn't belong in 147. Bullshit, he belongs in 147.
That's
what
right.
the fuck you guys talking about? Dumb shit. All these comments that I've been reading on.
I don't know. Do you see Danny Garcia? There were talks that he was going to move up to 151. I don't see him fighting a Jared Hurd guy. I mean, too small, man.
I know, but he's strong though. He might be able to do some shit. He's strong enough to do it.
I'm not saying he can't fight at 154. What I'm saying is the guys that are there right now, even Earl Spence, and I truly believe this. Even Earl Spence, who's a big motherfucker, if he was to go up to 154, he's gonna be the smaller guy next to Charlo,
Wait a minute.
next to Jared Hurd, Munguia.
Danny
Come on, those
Garcia?
guys are much bigger than him. You know what I'm
Danny
saying?
Garcia's talking about going to 154.
Yep.
Yeah.
He hasn't stopped anybody for real. I mean, look at.
Ah, shit. All right, Jimmy dropped off. All right, but you know what? Before we continue, it's interesting. I mean, fucking boxing it's not just that big of a sport. I mean, I'm gonna make. Oh, sorry, Jimmy, go ahead. What were you saying?
Oh no, I was going to say Danny Garcia hasn't stopped anybody besides that last kid Vargas since he come up to 147. It's been fucking slug after he lost to Herrera. He got a gift the decision there.
Yeah, Jimmy, but he's strong though, bro. He's strong enough to go 154.
But
not strong enough. I won't.
listen, but listen. Here's your thing. If you're dropping motherfuckers, and you got that famous left hook at 140, and you conclude, listen, go by facts. I mean, your opinion is as good as mine. I'm not saying it isn't. I just go by this. I go look at the facts. You can actually, if you put it on a chart, you would see his power go right down the shitter the minute he went to 147. And even the announcers, when Al Bernstein said, "Oh, he definitely had more pop at 140." That's what Mickey. Everybody said, "Dude, go to 147." He's like, "No way, man! He would kill himself to get to 140 to stay that hard. Not kill himself because he walked around at like 160, but he would get destroyed at 154 because he's not hurting people." He caught fucking Thurman with everything he got, and he didn't stop him. He caught fucking Porter with everything he got. He didn't stop him. Remember when Porter was coming up and he caught him? He didn't see that left hook? That caught him right square on the button. Porter was on Day Street. He come back to his corner. He was goofy, but he never went out. So the fact he catch somebody that clean.
Porter's a strong motherfucker.
Exactly. The thing is, he has a chin though, bro. Both these guys got chin. Both you guys mentioned.
But Thurman, I mean, I'm just saying. But look at what he did to people when he was at 140. He was knocking motherfuckers out who had good chins. The same people you would say.
And they weren't as good though, Jimmy. Also, they're not as good.
But I'm just saying, Danny just didn't carry that power. That's why it was fucking. I had that fight a draw, but if he stayed down at 140, and he could, you can see his frame. He's not that big of a guy. He could still get to 140. It's just lazy.
I agree and I disagree at the same time. I kind of agree and disagree because I think his power, Jimmy, is just as good as everybody there, except with the exception of Earl Spence, and that's it. That's the only person I see that has more power than him.
Matrix, I agree, but the thing is, with him, his power, he doesn't follow it up a lot of times.
No, he's not a busy fighter.
That's the thing. That's why Porter got him too.
He got away with that at 140. At 147, he's got to understand he's hitting bigger guys, and they're better fighters too.
Exactly.
Keith Thurman is a better fighter than anybody he's fought at 140. Sean Porter, the same thing. Those guys are just much better fighters than he's ever fought at 140.
And he doesn't have the skill to fight any other way. He's not going to change. He's not going to suddenly become not cement footed. You know what I mean? And I just, if he goes up, what's it?
No, go
I'm sorry, bro.
I was
just going to say he's very flat footed. He's very predictable. He's got a sneaky left because he throws it in a weird position. He doesn't throw it the way you would normally throw it. But then again, isn't he the southpaw that fights that way?
Listen, we were talking about
but
this. He's
tricky the way he does throw it.
It's not that it's tricky. You know what it is? He's a lefty.
No, I know, but I'm saying he throws it in a weird angle. If you're fighting him, it comes weird.
Oh, because he can naturally pivot on that side. He can naturally throw it in different angles. Because he's a lefty. So it looks tricky, but I know the trick. The trick. What he's doing is he's using his power hand as his lead weapon. His lead. I
think the issue
left.
I think the issue with Garcia is his foot movement.
Right.
His hands are good. His foot movement is shitty.
He's digging too deep. The way he digs with his lead foot. It should be the opposite way around. You should be digging like that you should have it as your back foot to generate that kind of, that power when you're swinging from that distance. He's doing it on the front foot. I'm like, why is he doing that? He's going to naturally be too heavy footed. It's going to look like he's more flat footed than he really is.
Right.
Way too inactive. Way too inactive. Doesn't throw enough punches. I mean, you can tell he's been knocking dudes out his whole life because he fights in that style. And when he doesn't stop them, that's what you get. There's no second gear. There's nothing in the corner you're going to be able to tell him. He's going to keep looking for that left, and if he doesn't get it, it's going to the cards. And if he goes to 154, they'll eat him alive.
Well, listen.
You're fighting huge dudes. But,
before we continue, we got a donation coming in from John Gonzalez. Shout out to John. I think he's working right now, he said. So that's why he can't come on. But
Johnny, what's up, buddy? Johnny's a good guy. I want to say that, man. I really like Johnny. He's a good dude. I see him a lot on Twitter, man. Good guy.
He's a
hey, I wanted to ask you like something. What fights are you looking forward to on the undercard?
Oh, that's a good question.
Hey, but before we continue, BDA, we have Precise, so let's get his prediction on the fight.
Oh, he's on.
I want to get his prediction.
Oh, Precise, you're back. Are you there?
Yeah, can you hear me okay?
Oh, yeah, perfect now.
Precise, how are you, buddy? How you been?
Bro.
Good. What's up, everybody?
Good. What's happening, brother? Hope everything's good with you.
Yeah, everything's all right. There have been a lot of wildfires around here, so I think maybe some equipment got a little bit burnt up. So my internet's been off and on lately.
Jeez. Fucking, how big a fire was it?
Oh, man, some of them go on for miles, man.
Jeez. Is that because somebody tried burning, what do they call it? Burning,
yeah,
like,
they burn their fields and the fire gets out of control and it just like goes on for days.
Wow.
Yeah,
Jesus.
idiots, basically.
At least you're all right. We're talking about, well, you know what? Because we don't know if we're going to see you again in the next couple of weeks. So you want to make a prediction for Triple G Canelo?
Not really, but I have some things to say. You know, to me, it seems like in this whole hoopla, in this whole Mexican style, everybody got caught up in the hype. And it seems like everybody forgot boxing 101 and conventional wisdom got thrown out the window. Everyone's talking about Triple G cutting off the ring, going to the body, blah, 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 blah. No, you're the taller guy. You're the rangier guy. You got the best jab in the business. And in your heyday, you were the #1 amateur in the world. And you had one of the best masterclass boxing performances of the last 5 years. Why not box the dude? He says he wants to knock you out. Let's see how well Canelo cuts the ring off. We know he can't. When he's made to come forward, he sucks. His rear foot is stuck in the bucket and he hops around the ring like a fucking idiot. You have to come to him for him to look good. Don't do that. You know, instead of Abel Sanchez, Golovkin needed to get Roger Mayweather for this fight. And all Roger Mayweather needed to say to him in the corner is, box this motherfucker. Box this motherfucker. And then that's how you knock him out. You're going to embarrass him because you got the longer jab. Instead of giving up your height and reach by pursuing him, right? Canelo runs away from you. He plants his feet and he waits for you to get close to him. And then he counters and he looks good. Fuck all that. Have him come to you. Cotto, Erizan Lara, Amir Khan to a degree, Mayweather, they all expose the fact that Canelo can't fight coming forward. He's a little bit better than Danny Garcia coming forward. Let's just keep it real. His rear foot is stuck in the bucket. He sucks. His footwork is horrible when he's made to come forward. Why not take advantage of all of your natural advantages, your boxing skill? And he says he wants to knock you out. Let him cut the ring off and come after you. He can't. You out-jab him that way. You embarrass him. You bust him up. You hurt his neck to where you limit his head movement. And then you start dropping the right hand. And when he's tired and frustrated, then you go after him. And that's how you knock him out. I'm sick and tired of one of the best amateurs of the last 20 years or so being asked to be a fucking Julio Cesar Chavez every single goddamn time out. But that's just I know I'm in the minority thinking this, but that's just my view on the fight. As far as who wins, it's going to... go ahead.
Go ahead, Jimmy.
That was an excellent point. I just want to say the way he drags his foot, my grandfather used to call him draggers, because they they don't move forward well. He drags it. You see it, he drags it along.
A lot of these punchers, that's what they do.
Yeah. Excellent
Yeah,
point.
I'll
ask
you a quick question. Doesn't Triple G have to fight that way? Because I don't see him stopping Canelo unless he does.
He would just have to do what he normally does, but just ring. But to Precise's point, all he would have to do instead of as he cuts the ring, just circle, but keep it at distance where Canelo's forced to cross the no man land. You can still go up to him, but you make Canelo cross the no man's land. And to what Precise is saying, Canelo can't do that well. He doesn't bring his power forward well at all. He has to plant his feet.
I agree with what you're saying. Like how he fought in the Lemieux fight, like
exactly.
That sort of like that's what he did in the Lemieux fight. He just like jabbed him, and then 8th or 9th round,
went after him.
Fucked, and he just
but that's not going to happen. Canelo's way more defensively sound than that.
I was gonna say that we're assuming that the jab is gonna land the same way he land. He's gonna land pretty accurately. That's not a guarantee though. And if it goes to a decision and Triple G just stays on the outside, tries to jab, Canelo's gonna get the decision, and Golovkin knows this.
Yeah, he's gonna get the decision no matter what. Golovkin could not come out. Canelo's gonna get the decision. Come on.
Exactly. So he has to come forward, Precise.
No, he doesn't.
No, what Precise is saying is true. I think that the only difference that would happen here is that Golovkin is not gonna. He's not gonna. I mean, not Golovkin. I'm sorry, Canelo. Canelo doesn't fight like. In other words, he doesn't fight like Lemieux. Lemieux could be getting fucked up the same way, and he's gonna keep doing the same thing.
Exactly.
But to Precise's point, that's how you stop a fighter like that. Because when the Golovkin, one thing that he brought up, Canelo cannot cut off the ring to save his life. That's a problem. That's a problem.
Are you telling me if Triple G uses his height and reach and he starts hitting Canelo with the jab, Canelo's just going to stand there? He's going to back away? No, he's going to have to get his lick back. I mean, this is conventional wisdom. This is boxing 101. This is how this shit's been done for fucking hundreds of years. I don't know why you guys are so like.
It'd be funny if he did it for at least a round or two, right? Made him look silly for a round or two. Forced him to come forward just at least for a round.
He could do both. He could do both, right? I mean, just like he did in the Lemieux fight. He busted him up a little bit, and then whenever Lemieux was a little bit hurt, he went after him. Obviously, you do.
And when people say on Twitter and they talk about jabs, and when they say, so he landed more jabs, I'm like, I fucking grit my teeth. I'm like, you people have no idea what one of Triple G jabs feel like.
Exactly. It's not a normal jab.
Triple G jab, any who motherfuckers, those guys.
Look at Danny Jacobs' face at the end of the fight. Look at Danny Jacobs' face at the end of the fight with a jab. And look what he did to Canelo. Look what he did to Canelo.
He busted Lemieux with that jab. He properly busted Lemieux with that jab.
That was a masterclass.
Hold on.
Going back to the Danny Jacobs fight, Triple G had no choice. He had to go after him because Danny Jacobs is taller and longer, and he could reach him. And then you do the same thing to Canelo. You're not going to give him a choice. He's going to have to come after you. He's a counter puncher. You touch him with the jab, and you take a little step back. What's Canelo going to do? Touch him with the jab, take a step back. You think Canelo's just going to be taking these punches? He's going to go after you. You'll give him no choice. This is rudimentary boxing 101. I don't understand why it's so difficult to get. And as far as, hold on one second. And as far as Triple G not getting a decision that way, I'm telling you, that's the way he stops them. Because you take advantage of all your natural advantages. And you make Canelo fight in his weakest suit. If he has a chance of stopping him, that is the way to do it. Jesus.
Yeah, I think he's gonna get countered if Golovkin tries to finish Canelo. That he's no fucking Danny Jacobs. No, Danny Jacobs can counter for shit if he slaps.
No, but the thing is,
Canelo can't counter coming forward.
Hold on. Can we just?
I understood that at some point Golovkin might put a little more aggression to try to stop Canelo, right?
Yeah.
Right.
I don't know if that's even possible.
I agree with Precise and what Matrix is saying, but there's only one thing that makes me say that this might not work, and that's the fact that the fight with Cesar Chavez. He's a stagnant motherfucker, man. He wants you to come with him. If you don't come, he's like, fuck it, I don't give a shit. It's like
exactly
that's his thing, bro. Like, come to me, no matter what. I want you to come to me because I'm not gonna come to you.
But by the way, can I say something? Let me just say something, please. Let me just say something because we're getting out of hand here. Apology wanted to say something, and then we'll get. I forgot who else was going to go after. But Apology, you go ahead. You wanted to say something.
GGG do that the first fight, and look what happened. So I don't see how your plan will work. I get your point, Precise, but I don't think it will be enough to stop him, if you understand what I mean.
I'm not saying he's going to stop him. I don't think anybody's going to stop anybody in this fight. But if that's your only fucking chance. You tried going after him and knocking him out, and that didn't work. You have to frustrate him. You have to bust him up. You have to make him take chances, not run away from you, come after you and take chances. Look, Canelo, that's without a question, that's his weakest suit. Triple G's strongest suit is boxing. He's a fucking amateur boxer. He recently, 5, 6, 7 years ago, learned to fight this new way. This is very new to him.
Yeah.
His best suit is boxing. So what else do you do? This is just conventional wisdom. You could sit there and deny it all you want. You fight in your best suit and you take away your opponent's best weapons. This is just how boxing works. If you don't think it'll work, that's fine. But that is his best chance. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I think people are missing. Let me just say something, please. Yeah, let me just say something. I think
hold on. BDA wants to say something.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, let me just add to that because I think people were missing the point that Precise is saying. Precise is saying Canelo can't fight going forward. He can't cut the ring off. Triple G has that boxer gene from his amateur career. He's got the longer jab and he knows how to control the distance. So boxing from the outside, make Canelo, who's uncomfortable coming forward, make him come forward. Now that doesn't mean that the judges are going to give him the decision because, let's face it, Triple G should have got the decision in the first fight and he didn't. But if he can box, fuck the judges. He's saying he's going to outbox Canelo. Whether the judges see or not, the rest of us are going to see. I think that's what you're trying to say, right, Precise?
Exactly. And like, imagine Canelo was quote unquote boxing, not really, but he was doing his best impression of a boxer in the first fight. And he got so much credit for that. How stupid would the boxing world look if Triple G flipped the script on him and outboxed him and they didn't give him the decision? Come on, man.
Well, Precise, even my grandfather, that was his philosophy. He would always say, I'm sorry. Oh, I got to grab my dog, guys. Sorry.
Real quick, to Precise's point, man, I'm gonna. The one thing, it made in the beginning, I kind of like understood, but didn't fully understand. Now that I think about it, with Canelo, the problem with Canelo, if Canelo decides not to punch, in other words, not to come forward, because let's say he's coming forward and he's getting countered, what he does is he starts retreating too much. You don't want to do that against Golovkin.
Exactly.
Do that against Golovkin because Golovkin's going to start punching you on. He's going to start hitting you at the end of those punches, at the end of his extended punches, and he will hurt Canelo. So Canelo has to fight back just to make. So in other words, if he stops and says, "I'm not coming forward anymore," right? I'm not going to come forward. I'm not going to actually.
He's just going to eat jabs all night.
He's just going to eat jabs all night, which would get him knocked out. So. Precise's point, I understand it better now that I think about Canelo's style. Canelo will have to make a choice of coming forward. He would have to because Golovkin.
You give him no choice.
You give him no choice. You basically give him no choice. Whether he knocks him out or not, that's not the point. The point is that's how you knock out a guy. That's how you stop a guy. Or you work on
there's a problem though. There's a problem.
Hold on. Abstract wanted to say something, and then Jimmy, and then Boxing Style.
Yeah, like what I wanted to say was like that was kind of the way I'd been thinking anyway. Like, because here's the thing, right? If Canelo's having to come forward and he's having to throw punches because he's getting jabbed all night, this is a guy with no engine. Now, that's going to take his stamina away a lot quicker than just sort of like dancing around the edge of the ropes if he's actually having to try and throw back like all the time and he's eating jabs, like that's how I think Triple G stops him. I think his stamina will run out and Triple G stop him late. That's what I think will happen.
Jimmy, go ahead, and then Boxing Style.
No, my grandfather released some boxing to Precise's point. You take his fighter, you utilize his best attributes while exposing your opponent's weakest. He said that's boxing. So that's pretty much exactly what Precise said.
Yeah. Boxing Style, you want to say something?
Yeah, man, I was gonna say there's a problem with that, and that's the fact that this fool's a stagnant motherfucker. When I saw with Cesar Chavez, even though that was all played out, it was fake. They were Cesar Chavez was paid off or whatever.
Allegedly.
But that's his, yeah, allegedly. Thing is, he's a stagnant dude, especially if he has the decision on his side with the judges and everything. He's not gonna worry about going to the decision or knocking him out. He's actually more comfortable going to the decision. So if Triple G's standing out there and asking him to come to him, he'll take his sweet ass time coming. Whenever he feels comfortable, he'll come.
Be eating jabs.
He will be getting. I'm not saying it's a bad plan.
Yeah, but guys, do you think this is David Lemieux though? This isn't David Lemieux though.
No, he's not David Lemieux, but he'll still be eating jabs, not doing anything. In other words, if he's just sitting back and he has to play the range game, he's gonna lose that. He's gonna lose that because he's smaller, and not only that, Golovkin's jab is fucking precise, and
that's true.
It doesn't miss. It does
That's
not
true.
miss.
That's true. But there's also one thing: he has good counter. I saw a couple of times when
How did Mayweather beat him?
Throwing a jab,
How
and
did
he got
Mayweather
countered.
beat Canelo?
How
did Mayweather beat him?
This
He controlled the
Canelo,
distance.
yeah, but this Canelo is not. It's not even the same Canelo. I don't think so.
Yeah, but Mayweather's not Triple G. Come on.
Well, can I say something? Because I've watched the first.
Point.
I want to say something because I've seen the first fight a bunch of times, like Canelo Golovkin. Every time that Canelo tried to counter Golovkin's jab, Golovkin would roll right away with it. He would throw the jab and then roll to the side, just give him one side of the body, and that right hand would slip right off Golovkin's shoulder. So Golovkin did a very good job of taking away that counter right hand. So again, these guys are not saying that he's gonna Lemieux Canelo, but they're saying he's gonna get the best of it if it stays. I understand the boxing style and Bucho's point. He's not gonna be able to comprehend. He's not gonna be able to do what Mayweather did, but it's gonna be better than if he's just chasing Canelo around the ring and getting into what Canelo wants, which is he wants guys to come to him. And by the way, Canelo couldn't he had Chavez in there and he could cut the ring off. I doubt he can cut the ring off against Golovkin, even though Golovkin's not gonna move around as much.
To finish my point, it's not like he's just gonna come to him and that's it, straightforward. No, he's gonna come and he's gonna stop at a certain distance and wait for a jab to come out.
What about
he ain't that
feints?
stupid? He ain't
Feints?
that dumb. Yeah, feints, all kinds of shit. You can throw a feint. You can do all kinds of shit, bro. Like it ain't that simple. I know you're saying it's a good idea. It's a good plan. I'm not taking anything away from it, but
you're missing the point. Triple G is going to be, because he is taller, rangier, he's going to be able to touch him before Canelo touches him. So Canelo can stop, and Triple G will still touch him, and Canelo won't be able to touch Triple G. Like this is just like basic rudimentary fuck.
Well, what did Golovkin do in that first fight? Like he didn't have he didn't realize. Well, shit. I mean, I'm not getting the best out of. Well, he was winning the fight, but
he was coming forward. That's
but at some point, like, well, you know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna just outbox the guy.
Because he had a bad game plan. He had a terrible game plan because his coach is more interested in making millions and millions of dollars than winning the fight. It's all about setting up making an exciting fucking fight so that you hype up the rematch. It's all about Mexican style. Exactly. So I could understand that, and there's a lot of pressure on Golovkin to be the pressure fighter. But there are times where the system is against you. You got screwed the first time. You're gonna have to do everything in your power to take advantage. Look, maybe he took Canelo a little bit lightly. Not that he didn't train very hard or he disrespected him. No, but he thought, I could fight. I could just come forward, go after him, and I was still going to win the fight. And he was right, but it wasn't enough, was it? Mm-hmm. So this is just really, really basic stuff. Make Canelo fight in his weakest suit and use your best advantages to your advantage. And that's really all I got to say. If you still don't get it, then I can't help you.
And by the way, if I can add something there about
all is gotten, bro.
what
Everything
Bucho
makes
said.
Sense.
Well, what Bucho said was that what Bucho said was that why didn't Triple G change his game plan? Which makes sense, right? But then again, you got to put yourself in the fighter's shoes. When you're in that ring, even though you're a silver medalist, gold medalist, whatever it may be, it's not that easy to think on the spot. That's why these guys are special, because most of the time they can do it. Second of all, maybe, I don't know, I'm just speculating here, but maybe Triple G thought that if I keep pressuring this kid enough, he's going to get tired, because he did get tired by the 7th and 8th. He was
pressure burst pipes, and it almost did, but it didn't.
Almost, yeah.
It almost made him collapse, but it didn't. But I understand the theory in terms of boxing X's and O when you're dealing with a certain type of fighter. If he's a great counterpuncher,
I know this is cliche, but
you don't give him counter punches. That's not. In other words, if you want to, because of the system and everything, you want to guarantee win, right?
Exactly.
The best way to do that is to box him, make him get frustrated, and it's true he doesn't.
I know
Guys,
this
he
is
applied.
Yeah, go ahead.
Hold on, boxing style. Let me say this. He applied more pressure against Lemieux than he did against Canelo, because Canelo was running away, and again, Lemieux was coming toward him. And I know what you're gonna say. Well, Canelo's not Lemieux, but this is your job. You're supposed to make him Lemieux. This is what you're supposed to do. And he ended up throwing more punches against Lemieux than he did against Canelo. Why? Because he was fighting in his best suit, and he was able to break him down and knock him out. And that's how you do it. That's just how you do it.
I know this
The
is
thing is as well.
Go
Could
ahead,
I just say something? As for what Butcher said, why didn't he change his style and that? Somebody said this earlier as well, like right at the beginning of the podcast. Like, I think he thought he was winning the fight just like the rest of us did, and maybe he didn't think he needed to, because like a lot of those rounds he was like way outlanding him, and maybe he didn't feel like he needed to change anything.
That's possible, but it felt like always like Golovkin. He never relaxed in that fight, though. I mean, he always felt like he knew it was like a close fight in a way. Like he never relaxed. You know, he was never, I'm cruising it. Fuck it, just gonna relax.
Pucho, didn't you pick G for the first one?
Huh?
Didn't you pick Triple G for the first fight?
Well, I think he won the first fight, yeah.
But didn't you guys pick him going in?
Yeah, I picked him. Yeah.
Okay, all right. I was just wondering.
Precise, to ask you a question. Earlier I was talking about GGG. What do you think GGG should do if he wins? Like, what's next for him?
I have a trilogy. I mean, come on, where are you gonna get more money?
Even if he wins.
Yeah. I mean, that's where the money.
I don't want to see it. I don't want to see it. But if I'm Triple G,
nobody wants to see it.
If I'm Triple G, I'm going for the money, and it's a legacy fight. It's a fucking legacy fight. I don't want to see it. Don't get me wrong, but if I'm Triple G, that's what I'm doing.
They can do a legacy, but like have at least fight someone different between. You know what I mean? Yeah. If he does beat Canelo, I don't think Canelo's going to want to fight him again right away.
Yeah,
I disagree.
Yeah,
I think if he beats Canelo, I think Canelo needs that fight. He needs a third fight. I think if it's the other way around, if Canelo wins and it's a close fight,
oh no, it's over.
I'm only going by my.
You're getting a third fight on that one.
I just think Canelo's too much of a diva. I think he'll need to offer his confidence. I think his confidence would be too shook, and if he loses this fight, he's the type of kid where, I mean, he turned on Golden Boy when they didn't.
Here's the thing, Jimmy. He's going to need it. It's not about what he wants to do. If he wants to continue, like he wants this, he doesn't just want to be your average boxer. He wants to be one of the best, right? He would have to, if Triple G beats him in the second fight, whether he wants to or not, he's gonna want a third fight. He might.
I'm sure. I'm sure he'd want to.
Triple G wait 2 more years down the line, but he'll want to. He'll.
But I'm sure he'd want to go beat somebody to get his confidence back. And regardless, even if he loses, he has enough fucking weight. His name's still, you know. I mean, he's still Canelo. He'll still.
He probably won't fight Golovkin until he's 40 years old.
You know what I mean? I think he'll try to get him at his end, but I definitely think he'll say no, fuck you. Because remember, it's not him working for, Golden Boy. He knows he's the golden goose. He'll tell Canelo. So in actuality, his manager is kind of running the show. If you think about it.
I think what we're missing the point is that I know it's cliche, but Triple G rarely threw any body shots, and his body shots are pretty devastating, especially when he knocked out Murray on the 11th round with the body shot. Those body shots he throws, man. He didn't really land any really good body shots on him.
But if you look at the guys he landed body shots on, they all kind of had the same stance. I think he's very comfortable in hitting the body of a guys a certain way. And I think Canelo saw that in the tape too, and stood a certain kind of had that right. He had his right elbow down low all the time. He did a real good job of covering his body.
Well, he has to find a way around that, bro. He has to find a way around that shit.
Yeah,
that's gonna help him out big time.
Yeah, also, he was scared of the counter or right uppercut. Canelo was training that all through training camp. There's like a video of him training, just throwing that counter right uppercut. So that's what Georgie was afraid of.
Right, and if you maintain distance, that uppercut's not going to work.
Yeah, they're expecting obviously Golovkin to fight the same way, which, like Precise said, he might not even do that. I was gonna say, imagine if Precise is right and then Golovkin just simply outboxes Canelo. How Abel Sanchez is gonna look like shit because he's been talking all this stuff about Mexican style and Canelo stand your ground.
Oh, he fell off.
Bucho, as long as he knocks him out, it doesn't really matter what Abel Sanchez said. If he knocks him out by doing that, it don't matter.
Yeah, but he'll flip the script and say, "See, man, I got you all thinking."
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Right on, you fools! I played you.
Yeah, that would be funny as hell. That would be ironic.
But Bucho, wouldn't that be bad? Because you see people like in the LDBC, like Triple G.
Yeah, of course.
Well, yeah. If I was him, I would hold up a fucking playing cards. So if that's exactly, think about it. If he goes Precise route and just fucking picks him apart surgically with a jab, right? And then after the fight, have what's his name tweet out a thing like holding up, cards with a middle finger, LDBC.
That would look bad on Golovkin, though. I mean, obviously, the win is the most important thing. But I'm just saying, like, eventually people would. I mean, this was the second fight, big pay-per-view fight, and then Golovkin just simply outboxes Canelo. That would be bad for Golovkin, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's he needs to go out there and knock him out, whether he likes it or not.
Yeah.
I don't think that's bad, Bucho. I think it's just mind games. You say you're
Triple
going to do
G
one thing, you
always
do something else.
Triple G always fights in a manner where he wants to stop his opponent. In other words, he understands the game. If it goes the distance,
that's true.
But when he was punching Canelo, make no mistake about it, he was trying to stop him. That's what he was trying to do.
Now let me say this because people overhand in the chat room says Abel is getting under Canelo's skin. He's definitely gotten under his skin. We've talked about that, how he got under that freckle-covered skin, which doesn't seem that hard to do against Canelo. But here's the interesting thing, because I think it was recognized, talked about that in one of the podcasts about not going into the ring angry, and that's how you get knocked out. But there's certain fighters that can go in there angry. Well, I'm talking about in the UFC, you had Cody Garbrandt, who's a slugger, essentially, a power puncher. And when he was going up against Dominic Cruz, who's a pretty mobile fighter, Cruz got under his skin. He was talking about his girlfriend, blah, blah, blah. And you thought, man, Garbrandt is going to go in there angry. He's going to be swinging and missing. Well, it turns out he was able to control himself. The last time that I saw somebody get under Canelo's skin was about 7 years ago when he fought, what's his name? The guy from The Contender. You know which guy I'm talking about, right?
Alfonso Gomez.
Yes, thank you. Alfonso Gomez.
Because he was rapping. He made a rap song about Canelo, right?
Yeah, he said
and he was outboxing Canelo. He was schooling Canelo early on, and then he got knocked out.
And that's where Canelo came back. Guys got Andre Ward's doing that shit now, huh?
Doing what?
Rapping? Yeah, I saw the commercial earlier. That's why I'm only bringing it up.
Yeah. I read something about it.
Yeah, I just showed it. It was a pretty expensive commercial. All of a sudden it goes, Andre, and he did some spiel. But, yeah, no, put it this way. Look at the network it's on. Look at the competitors. Look at the sound. And look at the demographic they're hitting. That's, I'm just saying.
Oh, boy.
Oh, wicked, dude. They might as well have had fucking, they should have Danny fucking Jacobs coming out. His dancing. It's unbelievable.
Brave Africa.
They should get Farrakhan. They should get Farrakhan to host it. Why not? As long as they're going that route.
It's just so obvious the route they're going. Plus, it's on that Spike, which now is bought by somebody else. But that's their demographic. It is what it is.
Black man, white man.
I'm sorry. Why is sorry?
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was saying, why am I always saying sorry? Like I'm fucking apologizing for fact.
Stop saying sorry, man.
Exactly. Social media got me fucking thinking, like, you know what I mean? Like,
Jimmy, I'm
state
sorry.
facts.
Jimmy, I'm sorry too, man. I'm sorry.
You're Canadian.
Jimmy,
I'm sorry. Let's have a drink.
I'm always sorry to fucking Justin Trudeau.
Okay, now, okay, whoa. You guys,
we love Justin Trudeau.
Exactly. He's the one we're sorry to.
we like to make jokes.
Affected by Article 13? Is Canada affected by? No, they're not in the EU, right? They're not affected by that Article 13, right?
Canada, oh Canada.
What the hell's Article 13, man? I don't even know.
Hey, by the way, can I say something? Because Abstract, about an hour ago, Abstract asked if anybody's looking forward to the undercard. That's what I wanted to get to too. Apparently, people are saying that Triple G is looking bad, and I'm also hearing that David Lemieux as well is looking like crap
He
coming
looked
in.
like shit at the MGM arrival. He looked dry. And
What do you guys mean that Triple? I'm sorry, but what do you mean Triple G looks bad?
No, Lemieux, David Lemieux.
No, I know David Lemieux. He's always like struggling with weight, especially when he has to fight at 160 or whatever it is. He's just. But I don't know. I don't see what's the.
Well, look at the screen.
What are people saying about Golovkin?
Look at your screen, and you tell me if he doesn't look a little drawn in there.
I saw that picture, and I'm saying to myself, pictures could make you look a certain way. It could. I'm not saying that he's not. I'm not saying that he's not struggling with weight. It's just that from what I've seen from Golovkin, he's always been that size, more or less.
Mm-hmm.
And from when I've seen him in person, he's a pretty small guy. Again, I'm a pretty big guy, but he's a lot smaller than I thought he was.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? When I saw him, he's a guy that looks like he walks around $175, $180, naturally.
But you know what? Maybe you're right. Maybe it's just a picture, because you're right. Just judging one picture, that's no way to going about.
And I'm not saying that eventually.
Matrix, I told you it's the wrinkles, bro.
I'm not saying
a lot of wrinkles, bro.
I'm not saying eventually he's not going to struggle. Father Time will catch up, and you'll have problems working out. That's what's happening. But in terms of the looks, I don't see it. I don't see this dramatic. Oh my God, have you seen what Golovkin looks like these days?
Right.
I don't see it yet.
Well, maybe not. Maybe it's all rumor that people like to stir the pot before a fight. But like what we're saying though, David Lemieux, that one I believe, because the guy's never been all. You look at him in the weigh-ins, he doesn't look cut. His last fight, he struggled mightily to make the weight. You could see that he looked very, very bad at the weigh-in, really bad. And this is a guy who, if you can cover up pretty well against him, you can go 12 rounds. Now again, O'Sullivan, he's not a particularly great boxer or great puncher, or fast for that in that case. But if he comes in shape, you watch that. Maybe Lemieux gets, maybe he gets upset in this one.
Yeah, I can see that happening.
He's got a tight little mustache, though, huh? That little weirdo.
Yeah, he looks like
curls that shit up like that old school fucking Queen Demetria rules.
He got a cowboy Bob Orton mustache going.
Dude, the first time I ever saw him, he was running through the street in a green onesie thong. He was running around fucking London or whatever. The first video I ever saw that dude stuck in my head, right?
Like I said before,
those people from the UK, they psychos, man.
Those people, like I've said before, man, the guy looks like Bronson. The guy.
Check. I sent you the picture of Lemieux. It's in the Dropbox.
Ooh, okay. Let's look at that. Hold on a second. Let me go to the Hangouts here.
I can see Lemieux get knocked out if he's drained really bad.
He's very inconsistent. I mean, sometimes he looks like shit. Sometimes he doesn't.
Yeah.
And this is gonna be a war. This fight's gonna be a war. So let's see who's in shape, man.
I don't really know much about Spike
punch a bit. He's not I don't think he's a sort of like devastating puncher, but he can punch a bit. He
can. Spike has.
Can he take a punch?
Right. That's what I'm more interested in. See if he could take a punch.
Take a punch.
Even punch.
All right, Bucho. No, well, yeah, he can take.
Or Sullivan,
Bucho, that photograph that you sent me, it looks like it was taken with a fisheye lens, so it's kind of hard to.
Did I send you the right picture, man? Or?
It's the one of the walk-in. I mean, the walk-in, the ceremony they do when they finally arrive and show the arrival.
If Lemieux loses the fucking Sullivan, man, it's time to, I don't know, go be a bouncer somewhere, dude. You know what I mean? Although in Canada, those Quebec guys will back him. He could probably still wring a few more fucking fights out of that crowd.
I didn't think he looked particularly bad there.
No, I didn't. Yeah.
Nah, but I saw the video. I just a picture, but if you watch the video of the arrival, he looks fragile a bit.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
That's not good. That's not good.
Lemieux is going to be too strong, too compact, too fast for Spike O'Sullivan. Spike O'Sullivan is just a domestic level fighter. I mean, his ass beat like U-Bomb. I mean, come on, guys. Eubank is just a fucking domestic hype job that was served up a bunch of tailor-made opponents. And he destroyed O'Sullivan. So what is David Lemieux going to do?
Yeah, but I think Lemieux's a better boxer and everything, but Lemieux's very inconsistent. I mean, he fought this Mexican guy, remember BDA?
Yeah,
and he didn't look
against like bums sometimes.
Yeah, exactly. That's my issue.
Speaking of that kid,
Sullivan was pulled out of that fight. He didn't like stop him or anything. Sullivan's corner pulled him out of it.
I was going to say, speaking of Eubanks, just wanted to touch on him real quick, man. That was the first person I've experienced Twitter hate with because I just one time tweeted out, I think Eubanks going to get exposed sooner than later. Dude, I had like 78 people from the UK in my thread fucking crucifying me, telling me I was a moron, and fucking my fucking mother dropped me on my head. And I just kept fucking giving a little giggle. He's like, hey, but wow. And then I went back because I made sure I saved that because I went, dude, like half those accounts were gone. So that means these motherfuckers must have been roasting people all the time. And when he ever got served up, they were just, hurry up, deactivate that shit, deactivate.
Yeah, so the hold on for Eubank Jr. in the UK was high. When he was coming up, it was high.
Yeah.
Yeah, people thought you would beat GGG. People actually thought GGG.
Oh man, I got hammered, man. It was crazy. I was like, wow, maybe I should rethink what I'm doing. A lot of people I made a lot of people angry with that silly little tweet.
I knew girls were going to expose him. I just knew it.
I bought into the hype a little
walking
bit.
around with his IBO belt. I mean, come on, man.
That was disgraceful.
Yeah, I bought into the hype a little bit. I thought he was gonna beat Groves. I mean, I didn't think he was gonna beat him up, but I thought he was gonna be able to cut the ring off or something. But he was getting caught coming in, and he couldn't get out of those clinches. Yeah, the guy definitely, BT Sports or whatever channel sponsored him and was riding the hype train. They really did a good job of riling people up into thinking this guy was going to be the next.
I thought Groves was going to outbox him, kind of, but at the same time, I thought he would have got in. Eubanks would, like, you know, hurt him because I thought Eubanks is a little more less fragile than Groves.
I just went by that Saunders fight. You know what I mean? I saw the Saunders fight. I went by that. I went by any training video I saw on him. I'm like, he's never on his feet the right way. Everything's pitter-patter. The guy holding the sticks or pads is doing more work than him. You know what I mean? It's just everything was so choreographed. I'm like, this dude is. I haven't seen him do anything impressive yet.
Yeah, Eubank needs you to stand right in front of him for like a long time, so he builds on momentum to hit you. If you just move, it's over for him.
And you know what? That guy, the Anthony Yard. That's why you gotta be very not suspicious, but you gotta be skeptical. And I want to wait and see how he handles a boxer or somebody with defense. Because like Stu says, he's fought nothing but Bulgarian lorry drivers. That's what he's fought so far. And of course, you're gonna look. If you have some talent, you're gonna look good against those guys. But let's see how he looks against somebody that's even somebody from the domestic level. Let's see how he looks against them, and then we'll make a decision of how good he is.
Yeah. But I think he's more talented than Chris Eubank. I think. Yeah, you're right. What you're saying, I agree with. But I still think he's more talented than Eubank.
Precisely, I think so. I don't. Yeah.
They're moving.
Yard.
The same, or Yard's worse.
No, I would say Yard is better. I mean, he's a newcomer really to the sport, and like you can't expect too much. But for how long has he been boxing? 4 years or something crazy like that. And to see him even at that level, like that speaks for itself. We'll see what his ceiling is, obviously, but I could tell right off the bat, even now, that he has better Like he's just better coordinated on his feet. He rolls punches better. I mean, I'm not saying he's perfect or anything like that, but he's better than Chris Eubank Jr. in my opinion.
Yard is more of a collective fighter than Eubanks. Eubanks loses emotional control during when he fights. Yard is more
called fear.
That's it.
Well, when he gets hit, he gets scared. He doesn't, you know what I mean? He's more worried about getting knocked out. His image to him, in his poses and everything, chest out and staring into the camera like he's fucking Fabio. It's like, dude, shut the fuck up. You know what I mean? So his whole thing is his image. So he's so afraid of getting knocked the fuck out that's what you get.
Yeah, that's how it usually works with some of these guys. Listen, I don't know how true it is, but a lot of these guys are deadly afraid before they come out. Obviously, they're never gonna admit it. But there is that very real thing called fear. Some of them might interpret it as nothing but as anxiety, pre-fight jitters. But they all feel something before the fight. I remember Bernard Hopkins used to say that. They asked him once, "Do you ever feel fear before a fight?" He goes, "No, never." I'm thinking, come on, you feel something. Like, you don't feel relaxed. If you're relaxed before a fight and your heart rate doesn't go up as you're walking through to the ring, you're a psycho or something. Because that shit ain't normal. Or you're on Xanax. I don't know. But
hey, BDA.
Yes.
Can I just bring one last point, maybe? I don't know if you want to end it, but can we talk about Spence Jr. and his basically his rant saying that who has Crawford beat?
Jeez.
I
Did
beat
he say
on
that?
Jerry, Kell Brook, and Lamont Peterson.
My
He's
God.
got a point.
And then he's saying, I'm not going to ESPN. I mean, if somebody wants to fight me, they have to come to my turf, which is basically Fox now and Showtime. So, I mean, this guy doesn't really want to fight Crawford. Because if he really wanted to fight Crawford and seek, to become the undisputed welterweight champion, he would be actually saying, yeah, I'll fight anyone, anywhere, anytime, but he doesn't want to fight Crawford.
This is the same situation with AJ and Wilder. One of them wants to fight in the U.S., the other one wants to fight in Britain. It's the same shit. It's no different.
The numbers that the biggest welterweight fight of the year, which by their own admission, by their own advertisement, their own announcers were saying, just did an abysmal 690,000 peak. So, you gotta fight. You know what I mean? You gotta fight over here where we really don't get exposed. It's like, dude, seriously? I mean, that's just like clipped your wings. How can he still be on Twitter? I don't know if he is, but running his mouth. The fucking organization you fight for just got its dick kicked in.
Hey, it's so funny that Spence Jr. is now saying that one of his biggest win is Kell Brook. But before Spence fought Kell Brook, he was saying, well, Kell Brook he has a trash resume. The best thing he has ever done is 4 or 5 rounds against Golovkin, something like that. So now he's changing his tune and saying, Kell Brook is one of the best fighters.
That's his subjective dumbass look, but reality, I think Terrence Crawford, when you check resumes, who actually fought the better guys, even though it's one division that he fought, I think he fought the better guys. Kell Brook is who has Terrence Crawford fought that's better than Kell Brook?
But you could make the argument.
Lamont Peterson. Let's go.
Maybe Postol. I don't know. Postol was there.
Postol was decent. I'm not going to take anything away from Postol. But besides Postol, okay, who else?
Well, it's in context too, right? Because by then Peterson was washed.
If you wanted to,
come on.
If you wanted to, you could make the argument.
3 rounds, 2 rounds, come on.
And if you wanted to, you could make the argument that Kell Brook had just been butchered and had his face broken in by Triple G, and they had to go all the way down to 147 to take on Errol Spence. I mean, come on. I mean,
it's not even
you're cutting off there, Jimmy.
I can't hear you, bro.
Was that apology? Oh, you said you couldn't hear him.
I hear him. I can't hear him.
Don't get it wrong. I still think Terrence Crawford has better skills. Has more shit in his toolbox,
right?
Than Spence. But Spence is a stronger guy with that. I told you with that so-called low blow body shots that he throws, bro. He has that shit. But I guess they count him, and it works out for him. And for those reasons, I think he'll finish Terrence Crawford off. But Terrence Crawford is still the better boxer between the two. So is Kell Brooks. Kell Brooks was the better boxer over Errol Spence.
Okay, it's Kell Brook, not Kell
Crawford's
Brooks.
growing into 147, whereas every month that goes by, that big ass fucking head Spence is going to get harder and harder for him to get to 147, and to the point where it's going to start costing him strength. It's going to cost him stamina, and it's, you know what I mean. It becomes the point where you have to go to 154. So if he can run his mouth now, but the longer that fight goes, I mean, Crawford just stepped in. He's feeling fresh. You know how strong he felt and how good he looked at 147. I just think he'd be way too much for Spence, and especially weakened. Because remember, dude, that kid probably walks around at like 185 now. He's a big dude.
Yeah,
I don't know how the fuck he gets down. What's that? 180?
He said he walked on 180, yeah. 180.
So I was off by 5 pounds. That's big to get down to 147. That's real
Jim,
big.
Jim,
Yes, sir.
Terrence Crawford walks around at 177.
But he's got a different frame. He's got a Tom Hearns frame.
You can't just throw weights like it doesn't really make sense.
It absolutely makes sense. He's having a hard time staying.
Frame-wise, I admit it. Frame-wise, yes, but weight-wise, not
yeah,
so
but
much.
weight, it's no more than weight. Boxing styles. You have to take in the guy, the frame, the body type, everything else.
And he just came up. Remember, he unified 140. So he was still getting down to 140 a year and a half ago. He's coming into 147. He said he never felt stronger in his life, and he knows he really, you know. So that was his aim to get there. In coming out of Ronnie Shields' camp, and this is a known secret, I mean, nobody's like hiding it, Spence is having a hell of a time making 147. And so every fight he makes to 147 now will be like, you know, okay, I did it one more time. But you will see him sooner than later. So all my point is this. It's not advantageous for him to fight him. If he's going to fight him, he has to fight him sooner than later before it starts causing him strength. That's all.
Now, that's the thing. That's the thing, because Errol Spence was getting outboxed a little bit. Well, yeah, he was getting outboxed early on against Kell Brook. And like I said, Kell Brook, who had just gotten his face broken in by Triple G, and he had to come down from 160, he was doing very well. You look at Terence Crawford, the way he so effortlessly circles around his opponents, pivots away, counters them. I mean, I really want to see that fight. Errol Spence versus Terence Crawford. But again, is it going to happen? Because you got Bob Arum on one side, and you got the PBC on the other, and it doesn't seem like they're going to be doing business anytime soon, which is a shame.
So I thought Spence said he was in control of his career, though. That's what he keeps saying. But he's bragging about he's in control. He's in control. Well, if you're in control, then you can go wherever you want. But you're not.
I want to see Terence Crawford fight one more time. Somebody with a name. So maybe Donnie Garcia. That's a good name that he could fight. Let him see.
You should fight Porter.
No, man. I don't think he wants anything with Porter. Trust me.
But you know what?
Porter would kill him, man. He will kill him. Mark my words, he will kill him. It will be looking ugly and devastating for him. But Danny Garcia, he has a little bit legitimate chance to improve his 147 resume to make him, feel more comfortable with 147.
Boxing style. So you're saying you think Kell Brook is better than Terence Crawford?
Yeah, man, that's my opinion, but I can't prove that.
Are you talking about Kell Brook before the Golovkin fight or after the Golovkin fight?
Both cases. Both cases.
Boy.
Well, you know what? We're never.
That's my opinion.
You know what else, man? You know what? You know what's an.
You're never coming back here, though.
This guy's a weight bully. That's 177, going down all the way to 140 and 135, and being undisputed. I mean, come on, bro.
I mean, everyone's a weight bully boxer.
I know, but some are like too much, if you know what I mean. Like
Jack Hurd.
Jack Hurd is an example, but I like Hurd.
But come on, but if that's the case, everybody's a weight bully. I mean, everybody fights every time because that's the whole idea.
Listen, this is why Triple G is a weight bully too.
Everybody is. Everybody.
When you're going 50 pounds down, bro. Like
it doesn't. 40. Listen, most fighters drop a substantial amount of weight. You'd be surprised. That's the reason why I'm a huge proponent of the same. I believe in the same day weigh-ins. It keeps the fighters honest because listen, they've manipulated. It's become an art form. You get your fighter to the point he's almost next to death the night of, right? And I'm telling you, all they do all night. If I had them in my stable, I would just wake them up every 2 hours and keep pumping fucking Plantar raw fruit, which is natural, and just you would see him swell up. And when he wakes up, fucking carb them all day long, carb load them. And it's become a science to get them to beat the weight class. That's how Danny Jacobs was able to come in at 180. If they had the same day weigh-in, there's no way you're going to fight the same day if you're that emaciated. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I hate this day before, and because they did it to get fighters safe, because everybody was trying to, like what we just talked about, be weight bullies, and it was costing fighters, they thought, their lives, because they were like, so whatever. But they had 12 hours to get themselves heavier. But it's actually, I think it's caused more damage, because kids now are passing out. Like, didn't someone just recently pass out before the fight, on the scales? The kid from around here, actually, a PBC fighter.
Well, in the hotel, whatever, in his hotel room,
Oh, yeah, because they push it. They just keep pushing it. That extra day and that extra night's sleep makes all the difference. So it's just,
Man, this is a never-ending conversation, guys. This is just boxing is what it is, man.
I think they should do what the IBF does and have a £10 rehydration limit.
You know what? I'm glad that the Canelo Triple G fight the rematch is almost over, because if the decision goes the way it should or whatever, and we never get a third fight, we're going to be able to return to the important things in boxing, like the ones we're talking about. Don't forget, next episode we're going to be covering the real issue at hand. Who has the better tits, Errol Spence or Andy Ruiz? That's the issue on everybody's minds. I know it.
Absolutely. We'll do a side-by-side.
Just tuned in.
Yeah,
dude is back.
You just heard that. Like, what the hell, BDA?
I just tuned in who has the bigger tits.
All right.
Yo, guys, go watch that. El Dude made a video analyzing Errol Spence's tits, man, and it's a good video, guys.
I'm guilty as charged. I got Spence's gonads. Oh, I was a poster in my room now.
What's the title of the video? What's the title of the video?
I forgot. I titled it "Something Wrong with Spence."
Oh, okay. I was just because I'm gonna look at it. I want to check it out.
And talking about Spence, brothers, he recently just joined the VADA testing, like yesterday or today, this morning, and which shows that he really wants that Sean Porter fight. But it also shows why didn't he do this before? You know what I mean?
He's cycling off. He's cycling off, and I think he's finally got his use out of steroids. Because you have to understand, dude, just because you offer steroids doesn't mean you still don't get the benefits. They can last for like years or forever.
Oh yeah, with that massive buildup of muscle. But the thing with that video that you guys are talking about that I made, the reason I made it was because Kell Brook, his particular demands were that Errol Spence Jr. test for VADA. Now when he tested for VADA, he had normal size nipples. I know it's kind of funny, but it really was normal size nipples, which brought my attention because in the previous pictures or him in the weigh-ins versus other fighters, I mean, those things were so puffy. And but it's a good thing now that he's in the VADA system now being enrolled, because now we're going to see the real, I guess the real caliber of Errol Spence Jr. under these particular protocols.
That's interesting. Now,
you heard it here first. Porter is going to expose Spence. I'm not saying he's going to win it. I'm not saying he's going to win it. I say he's going to expose him.
How with boxing
How do you
styles,
do your
man?
predictions normally? How's boxing style? How's your? I'm just curious, because don't you guys keep score? Do you do pretty good usually on predictions? I'm not being a wise ass. I'm just asking.
How I do predictions?
Yeah. How are you doing so far, like on calling fights? How do you do normally?
I'm like 3 out of 5.
I was just wondering.
Just coming up with a bullshit number there.
No, honestly, I just said 3 out of 5. I'm assuming 3 out of 5. I had heard a couple of times. I had told her a couple of times actually. I had
Triple G Materiosian. Who did you pick for that one?
I picked Triple G, but 12 rounds was fucking bad. 12 rounds was pretty bad. I admit that shit. I still had Triple G winning that fight. It's not like I gave it to Honest Martorcia. What else? I had a bunch of fucking ones. So it's not like I'm.
That's what we're keeping tabs on now. Like that's what we're asking everyone.
Actually, you know what, Bucho? Let's be honest. We're asking everybody, but the only one we're keeping tabs on is boxing style.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, exactly.
I was gonna say, you gotta admit, you do kind of make sometimes like you go against the grain with some of it. Yeah, like just type thing.
I picked. Look, Terrence Crawford and Jeff Horn. I had a feeling that they're gonna still give it to Terrence Crawford, but I was like hoping that Jeff Horn could pull out something out of his ass. It just didn't happen.
I'm gonna take that.
Sometimes you go with emotion, right?
Yeah,
sometimes if you don't like a fighter, if you don't like a fighter, they'll go any decision. Okay.
Exactly.
By the way,
Porter and Spence, I'm not going with emotion. I do genuinely believe he has the better foot movement, better reflexes too. And I'm not saying he's over the top with him compared to Spence.
Well, can I ask you, what did he do during the fight during Garcia? There was one moment, or there's a couple of times, he did that bizarre, like, it was almost like he was running tires in a football drill. With his feet. It was so bizarre.
Yeah, he has some weird shit, bro. That's why I've been looking forward to him fighting Spence.
That girl got out of the trunk.
Yeah, exactly, man.
You better grab that girl, man.
Richard Gein. Now listen, you know what? Listen, remember, Porter used to be a football player, so who knows? Well, you know, he's got this weird shit that he does, but he's got pretty good footwork. Yeah, the Shepherd Sons just.
You know that point?
No, go ahead, brother. I was going to say so. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, you know the part I was talking about, right? When he suddenly went pop with his feet, like jammed them up and down. He went back and forth with his head. It looked like it was running tires. And it was
exactly.
It was just a weird thing. I never saw it before.
Here's the thing with Sean Porter, man. We all know he was an ex-football player, but that does not give him the right for. I mean, he didn't really do this against Danny Garcia, but other fights, he just rushes in there, throws his forearms at your chest, tries to open you up that way. And bull rushing like that is not a legal tactic in boxing. I mean, that's not wrong, dude. That's not wrong.
Remember, he's a short guy, so he has to make up for those disadvantages.
No, that's true. I mean, he's a short guy, but still, I don't. Yeah, and all those headbutts and Danny Garcia complained a little bit about that.
I thought Porter got away with a lot in his career. That's just my opinion. I thought he should have been warned or points taken away a lot more than he had. There was a lot of fights he would just smother the fucking in headbutt.
Yeah, and if you hear the commentators, they're always praising that. Oh, that's the Sean Porter we're used to. That's what he does best. But those aren't legal tactics.
If you look at it that way, you got to look at how many times Spence hit Kell Brooks in the balls.
Yeah, he did crank him, didn't he?
I mean, like, seriously, bro. If you look at it that way, I'm looking at it. I used to look at it clean, but now I'm like, go ahead, do the dirty shit. I don't give a fuck.
Well,
it works.
For that El Campo, he caught him in the nuts too. That kid he took out in the first round.
Exactly.
He gave him a nut shot too.
I think with Aerospace Jr., if you look closely at those particular shots, he's aiming for that particular shot. I don't think it's accidental.
Those guys are professional boxers. They can put those fucking punches anywhere they want. That's what they do all day, dude. Trust me. I got to the point where I wouldn't make that mistake. That was too low on El Campo. El Campo hit him with an elbow 10 seconds early. You could tell he was okay.
Well, you're breaking up, man.
Oh, sorry, brother. I was just...
Oh, just in time. Steven Schneider, another contribution, says if the red don't stop it, it's game. I agree. I agree with that. I agree.
I've been wanting to say, man, your that video you did on Canelo and GGG with the Rocky theme to it, that was awesome, bro. My whole family, I showed it to them. My son and my brother and the co-workers, everybody loved that one, dude.
Well, thanks. That was a
great video.
Bucho. Yeah, Bucho made that video.
You're getting better with the sound and the whole production of your videos are getting better, dude. Just want to tell you that.
I still doubt that Bucho did it. I'm still doubt. Did you pay an Asian guy to do it?
I was gonna say, yeah, I paid somebody to do it.
An Asian guy, right?
Yeah.
Some Asian guy. Oh, a Russian maybe even, yeah. All right. What were we talking about? All right, listen, you know what? We have to go. But Jesus, we almost went 4 hours. I can't remember the last time we went. Well, Bucho, when you fucking okay, we have a dude. Mute your mic, please, man. Mute your mic.
Well, that's right. I forgot. The last fight I called wrong was Kovalev and Alvarez.
No, please.
All right, El Dude, can you please mute your mic, man, please? Yeah. All right, let's wrap this up. Thanks everybody for joining us again. Who did you have? We had Cameron. We had Abstract. We had Recognize the Matrix. We had Stu. Right now,
Kiwi Boxing.
Kiwi Boxing was here as well for a little bit. We had El Dude. Huh?
Matrix. I mean, I'm sorry. Precise Puncher.
Yeah, Precise Puncher.
Yeah, Precise.
Pavel. was here. Boxing Style, Apology Man, Jimmy. Who am I missing? Come on, please don't tell me I'm missing. I said Pavel, right? Yeah, I said Pavel. So Cameron, I said Cameron, yes.
Mr. X.
Mr. X, of course. Thank you. How could I forget? All right, so listen, guys. We got your predictions down. Butch is going to try to do, if everything goes according to plan, Butch might be able to do a show this upcoming days before the fight. Worst case scenario, we got the predictions, and we are going to be doing a post-fight podcast on Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern. So we got all your predictions. We also have some of the predictions on the prediction video, so we're going to take a look at that. So again, gentlemen, thanks for being on. And I'm just going to read some of the... I'm going to give some shout-outs to everybody in the chat room. Uncle Burn.
All right, gentlemen, you have a great night. Thank you again.
Yeah. See you, bro.
See you guys.
Thanks a lot,
guys. Thank you very much. See you, everybody.
Thanks a lot, guys. And I want to give a shout out to Uncle Burnt Apostrophe, Overhand, The Quags, Hakuna Matata, Steven Schneider, Kaal, G Boogie, John Gonzalez, Real News, Overhand, The Fight Scout. Who else am I missing here? We had Rod T. Davis as well, Brandon White, Cachnello, Give Me My Fight, Nino Gaiji, Adrian H, Undercover Asian, Joey Ocean was here as
guys, well. A lot of the panelists that are on this show, they have YouTube channels and Twitter, and you can follow them. Just look at the descriptions that are in the... Actually, just look at the description. You can see all the links there.
Yeah, look at it in the description of this podcast, and you'll be able to see Recognize the Matrix, Apology Man, El Dude, Cameron, I think, has a channel. Yeah, Cameron has a channel. I don't know if he's still updating that one. I think Abstract has a...
Abstract has a channel. Cameron, Recognize the Matrix, 100% X has a channel. El Dude, and you can follow Jimmy on Twitter at Jimmy D Marino. Everything's in the description, guys. So just check it out.
Apology too. Apology has a channel too, and check out Carnival, formerly known as Precise Puncher. Now he makes videos about anti-veganism or how a vegan diet is not appropriate for optimum health. So, guys. Thanks again for joining us. You guys are the best. AZ, Rod T. Davis, or Rod Rook Davis, Real News. You guys know who you are. Thanks for joining us.
check up the Facebook page, man. We're trying to grow that.
Oh yes, the Facebook page as well. Check out the Was Vladimir Klitschko boring video. We're never gonna stop mentioning that one. We gotta keep promoting that one. So check us out on Spreaker, iTunes. Hold on, let me see my little card here. Yeah, don't forget to visit our Amazon affiliate links. Don't forget to check us out on iTunes, Google Play Music, Spreaker, Stitcher. Like Butch said, check out that Twitter page. And we'll see you on the next one, folks. Enjoy the fights this Saturday. And I'll talk to you on Sunday. Take it easy, everybody. Thanks for joining.